inside of it.
What's inside? Oh, another drumsticks.
Screws from my knee.
Oh, from your knee, bro. Wow, those are huge screws, bro. This was in your knee?
Yep. Both of them.
Wow.
Horizontally running through my knee, and I walked around with them for
6 months almost? 3 months?
so what's July?
Wow.
What month is July? The fourth.
7.
Seventh.
month?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 whole months.
Wow. That's a long, bro. Imagine.
That was the bottom one, and then the other one was on top. Nope, the other way.
Catching a tendon, right?
Flat.
We're back, by the way.
Like that.
So put it like through, like if the head was, like this is your knee.
Yeah,
like that, through the side.
Like that.
Nope, through the side, buddy.
That.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yep.
So they were like using it as the hinge. Dang, that's crazy.
Those two specifically were holding the bottom part of the titanium rod in my femur. I still have one screw in my leg, and I still have a titanium rod in my leg.
Wow.
Oh, you can look at the underside of that. I think it has the whole description of. Does it say on it?
Yeah, Missouri. Washington, Missouri. Meerschaum Co. Registered January 23rd. Oh, the company. Yeah, so this is made out of a corn cob.
Uh huh. So that.
Have you smoked out of this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
works.
It's better to smoke tobacco out of it because tobacco doesn't leave like a resin, so it doesn't get all sticky through the pipe.
I see. That's why this is not like marijuana. Probably just. Oops.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best. It doesn't smoke the best in here, but I did want to use it at least once before I put it away.
Yeah.
So, and I remember specifically when I used it, I was outside picking up my dog's poop. I just had it hanging out of my mouth, with fucking a whole bunch of weed in there. I had made a whole ember and I was just puffing with like one of those pooper scoopers, just picking it up and dumping it. And I remember I thought to myself, I understand the satisfaction of old people now. I was like, I get it.
That one smoke with a corn cob pipe, picking up dog poop, and you're like, yeah, I could be 90.
Yeah, 100%. My dog was just chilling, fucking chewing on a piece of wood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bro, that's so sick. Okay, wait. Remind me, what was that question?
You know what's funny? I just thought of that right now. I was like, all right, cool. So I remember this. We were talking about being on dates and running into somebody that is extremely shy and just kind of shuts down and can't really talk. And my question for you was, what do you do in those situations to move the date forward? To try and get them to come out of their shell.
So that one girl, it was really rough. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I did my best job. But my current girlfriend, not so much now, but in the past, was very shy, especially the first time we dated. And one, you just gotta be patient. Because I think like if the other person feels like they're making someone wait and that person's upset with them, it's just put more it's like a feedback loop of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So one, I think, is just be genuinely patient and genuinely reassure them, like, hey, I got time to be with you. Mm-hmm. Right? If I'm not going anywhere, then there's no pressure for you to get this out quickly. So take your time.
Yeah.
That's one. And if you don't have the time, then, well, it sucks to suck for them. Right? But, like, that's the thing.
Come on, spit it out.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I got clock's ticking. It's like, yo, I don't got time for you. But it's like, yo, you're good. I got time for you. Yeah. Like, make them, like, you know what I'm saying?
I made this time to spend time with you.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not running off
whether
anywhere.
we just sit here and share company or we have a conversation.
Yep.
We're going to be here.
My current girlfriend, I remember the first time she asked me out, it took her.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it took her, I'm not joking, probably 25, 30 minutes to just get the question out. And I just sat there and just looked at her. I was like, you good? Just being nice. But I'm like, I think I know what she's going to ask me, but I don't want it. She's got to ask me. She's got to step up and ask me. But I'm also not going to demean her and be like, hey, I'm leaving. I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't. But I think that's definitely some advice I would say. Not that it's going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. Just be like, hey, just be patient. Because, like, you don't know what's going on in that person's brain. And, like, sometimes they are just, like, freaking out. So reassurance. Yeah. Everyone's probably a little different. Patience. And probably just asking them questions to help stir it along. But what I realize is like, you can ask someone a question, but then it might distract them from what they're trying to say or think, and then they
Yes.
sometimes like use as a crutch because they're like, oh, I really do want to say this. Have you ever been in that same situation?
Where I'm dealing with a shy person, or I'm the shy person?
You're the shy person. And you're just like, I just don't know how to say this, and you want to say something, but you don't feel like you can.
Yes, though that was all back in like high school though.
And what do you think helped you back then?
Gaining confidence and stop caring what other people think. That was ultimately what it came down to. And for me, I started practicing that because I was aware that this would be a solution, and very shortly after starting to practice it, I forgot about it.
Nice. Yep. So I think in like a real time situation, the date, you kind of have to make that other person feel confident, so that they can say it. Which sometimes, look, there's only so much you can do if someone really is insecure. And something I have my insecure moments. If you feel insecure, or if someone's insecure with you and they aren't confident, sometimes there's nothing you can do. But that's why I think being patient always helps, because maybe they will get it out. It just might take them a little longer. I don't feel like I run into that a lot when I've been on dates and go on dates with my girlfriend now, because I think, one, we're both pretty confident people, especially now, and then two is just like,
You've built a relationship to a point where there doesn't need to be any type of ice breaking or...
Yeah. I try to be disarming. Like, I try to tell any first day I went on, it's like, dude, I'm just a regular guy. I really am. Like, I'm just a regular guy. There's nothing special. Like, if you're looking and you think there's something special about me, like, I hate to break it to you, but I am genuinely curious to know you for who you are. So
Yeah.
it's like, listen, I don't see that myself in my way, in that light. So like, neither should you, and let's just get to know each other. So
That's really funny. So anytime I've been encountered with somebody that was like, oh, I feel like you're this great something, I've never gone, no, I'm just a person. I go, okay, cool. This is gonna sound fucked up, but in my head, I'm like, okay, I have the upper hand in this interaction then, because you already see me as like this thing.
Yeah.
So for me, typically, I just change the attention to them to just show them that I'm interested in them, just because I'm dissecting my own brain right now. So give me a sec here.
No worries.
That's interesting. Yeah, I ask about them to switch attention to them, but I also don't go the approach of like I'm nothing special, even though I agree. I think we're all, actually, the way I see it is I think we're all special individuals, but by doing so, that means none of us are special. It's just everyone is kind of unique in their own fucking way.
Yeah, but we're all special, right? You get what I'm saying? It's like, I see what you're saying. It's like,
yeah. So that's why I'm never like not special, but also I don't say that because in my mind I don't want to. I don't want to change that view of the person of me, because
it's an elevated view.
Yes, I guess specifically in a relationship, man with woman, it shows that they're looking up to you. There's that they see you as a leader, they have respect for you type of thing.
Right.
So like as soon as I bring myself down to I am exactly the same as you, then they kind of toss that out the window and they no longer look at you as the leader, as the male that you should be. I think that's why I do that subconsciously.
Maybe. You know what's funny is I can see why you would do that, but part of me, I think, is in a way like, I'm not worried about that. I'm like, whether you see me as special does not truly mean I'm special or not.
Yeah.
I'll prove to you I'm special if I get the chance to do so.
Yeah.
And I think that's more important. But also, like, in a first interaction, I think for me, it's just like, you're just as special. Let's get to know each other.
That's true.
Right? Because, like, if I'm that great, what would I be doing if I wasn't with a great person?
Yeah.
And I think, like, how I try to go about relationships, and I've told Sarah this, is like, I try to be transparent, lay my cards down. There's no point
Yeah.
in trying to. Now, that's not every relationship, and not in every circumstance is that
That's very
wise.
true.
Even right, you
100%.
can't.
You got to read people.
Yeah,
you gotta
but
read people
you
a
want to
little
be
bit.
as 100% honest and as transparent as you can be, but maybe not 100% like indiscretionate of privacy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to be as honest, 100% honesty always, but you don't always need to say everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's it's better to say more than not, but sometimes you got to have discretion.
That's the having better judgment.
It takes like some discernment and wisdom for sure, and I think being an extrovert and a relationship minded person, like I enjoy people, so
Mm-hmm.
I think I get a lot of chances to do that. But in dating specifically, you know, part of my journey is the way I was raised for a lot of reasons, family, childhood. I have always struggled with self-worth.
Mm.
That is like one of the biggest, right. And I think there are a lot of natural reactions to that. Like, I think what we both do are like a classic example of like, I struggle with self-worth as like my childhood self struggle with self-worth so much that either like I go around saying to anybody, hey, I'm not special. Like because I don't feel that way. Even if I know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because like plenty of people have told me like, Joe, your brain is totally different.
It really is.
Coworkers in the
It's one
past,
of my
like,
favorite.
dude, thank you. Like, but tons of people have said that, and I'm like, I don't know why you think that, but I could see maybe why. But that's like a trauma response where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm special because like my self-worth as a child, and there's a lot of reasons. Or what you do is like, I don't want them to lose that elevated view of me,
Mm-hmm.
because once it's gone, it's gone. But it's like that's
I
not
haven't
true.
had it, so if you have it for me, like, please keep it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
where mine's at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I can't
Makes
lose
a lot
that.
of fucking sense.
Yeah. Here's something that like, can I read the Bible to you?
Sure.
This
Please.
is actually recent. I just went over this recently, so I'm gonna read through Matthew chapter 6.
For a second, I was expecting you to pull up an actual Bible right now.
I do
was
have
like,
one in my car.
Okay.
I should have brought it out.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I love it. Hell yeah.
You're like, when did you have a
Fucking
Bible?
go. Yeah, I was like, I didn't see you walk over the Bible.
I should've.
Fucking just made it appear out of the chair. Like,
All right, let me read to you. And this is something I just recently read. I'm going through, and like I had a bout with like I rarely struggle with anxiety,
Okay.
ever. So when I do struggle with it, it can be bad because I'm like so not good at.
it's new.
It's new,
You're not used to it.
and I don't have a lot of experience with it. But
Yeah.
I had some anxiety recently, and I was like, huh. So this passage is in Matthew chapter 6, starting in verse 25, and it's called "Do not be anxious," and it says. This is Jesus talking. He's like, therefore, I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. So like I'll stop there, and there's more to it, but I'll keep reading later. But King Solomon was the wisest, richest man. And God is saying, you guys are being anxious, but look at the flowers and the birds that don't work to produce value. Like the birds of the air don't go to the job. They don't go into the barn. They don't bring the grain in, and yet they're fed. And the flowers, they're clothed better than King Solomon, who was like the wisest, richest man who did all these things and was the glory of Israel. God's like, they don't do anything for their own value. They just exist. They don't deserve any value. No one cares about them or worth. But in verse 30, and then he said, but they're better taken care of than Solomon, who did so much work. And he said, verse 30, but if God so clothes the grass of the field, right, grass, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O little faith? Therefore, do not be anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the Gentiles, right, the pagans, seek after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them all. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. When I read that verse, I heard a sermon about it by this awesome pastor DJ at Imago Dei Church in Belvoir, and he's like saying, like, listen, the birds, they don't work and to promote any value. Like sometimes we, especially as young men, we say, I have this value, whether it's monetary, and I need to build it up. But what God is saying in this passage is like, dude, no person, true human that's following Christ, you're not on this journey to accumulate wealth, to build worth, to build value, to even find identity.
Mm-hmm.
God is saying all of that is given to you. Just like your food and your clothes. So like stop worrying about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like as I grow older, I'm like seeing my past and the pain as a child to have such low self-worth, and then going through young middle adolescence saying I have to work so hard so I can be something like just valuable, worth anything, to seeing that like this is not my quest in life. All my value, my worth, and my identity has been given to me by God.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to worry about that. I can literally go out and love people out of the immense reservoir of God's love that's been poured into me. Like an infinite amount of love has been showered on my life. I lack nothing. I have no need to build worth or value. Whether I do or I don't, I'm not going to be anxious about it. So it literally gives me the freedom to say to other people, I love you. And there's no strings attached. There's actually no need. There's actually even no real loss if you don't love me back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, in like a romantic relationship, you don't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
But when you meet someone new, it's just like, they should be shocked. Like, why are you nice to me? It's like, I actually don't need a reason to.
I'm just open and accept.
Yeah. The reason is like, I'm so loved in Christ that like, of course I can love you. It would be the least I can do. It would actually be wrong of me to not just shower with you love, because like then it would show I don't know what it's like, and I do know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just like for me, like that has carried my self-worth and like transformed it and my value. And I'm just like, yeah, I am special. Like everyone else is special because God made us special.
Yep. You wouldn't be here if you weren't.
Exactly. And so like, I think when it came to that dating situation, it's like, yeah, of course I'll level the playing field because we're all great. And we all have value and worth, and we're not here to build it and you can tell when people are like, I need it. Like it fuels a lot of people, probably a lot of the greatest business people in the world. Men and women are just feel like I got to do something to be something great, whether that's genetic or trauma, but like
statistically, most of the successful people are narcissists.
Yeah, where in probably maybe in their mind, part of the narcissism is like they need to be great for them.
Typically comes from trauma.
Yeah, sure, and it produces results for sure.
Something
But
happened in your childhood that created responses in the way that you see the world and the way you act about things that propelled you to where you are.
Exactly. Well, I think just like now, I just read that in the Bible. I'm like, man, God is amazing because like it's been given to me, and so in dating situations with shy people, it's like, like even if that person's not even physically attractive to me or whatever the case is, it's like, well,
I'm just here to have a good time at that point. Because I've had that too, where through text everything is great, and I don't know who I was talking to about this, but like through text everything is great, and you're on a dating app, so it's like there's like sexual tension through text and of anticipation, like, okay, are we gonna do something when we meet up? And then you meet them, and immediately off like first sight or from that first hug or a couple lines of interaction, you're like, okay, this person, I don't click with them in a romantic or sexual way. This is somebody that like I could be a friend with, and now knowing that, let me continue moving forward and just get to know them and pick their brain and see how they view the world and see what I can learn.
Yeah, and maybe that will change in the future.
True. Who knows? Maybe through picking their brain, you're gonna find something that really resonates with you, and it changes the way that you view them, and they become attractive to you.
Yeah, but maybe not. And
That's true. Maybe
you know
not.
what's funny is like my
It's
parents were
Schrodinger's world, bro.
Yeah. Dude, let me tell you, my parents were arranged. I think they met
Oh,
my
that's
mom
right.
and my dad. I think they met a week before they got married. So
That's
it's like
wild.
I don't know how much you could say there was attraction there, but they
No,
are.
it's more so like this is what we're doing.
They had 2 kids, man, and they had Becky and Tim came
Good
up.
kids, bro.
Hey, appreciate that, man. God's good.
God is good.
Dude, I feel like the arranged marriage in Indian culture like speaks to some beauty because it works for some people, it doesn't work for others, and I'm definitely not gonna be arranged. But like I feel like there's some beauty to that where it's like you like my dad just came home from India. He was there for a couple months.
Nice. Family?
Yeah, so
Cool.
my grandma passed away,
Oh,
which is
sorry.
sad, but truly I love her, and she was old, and
It's life.
yes, and she's in a much better place. And she wasn't like super healthy towards the end of her life, but comes home, and my mom and dad were like so happy to see each other, and I was like, dang, you almost forget as you get older, like they're good friends.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you guys simping so hard in my mind? I was like, dude, you're like old. Like, why are you simping for each other? And then my
That's so
dad's like,
funny.
dude, try this food I just brought. It's super good. I was like,
That's funny.
but the way he was going about it and like in Malayalam, I was like, dude, you are such a simp. And then my mom was simping for him, and she's like, I'm like, all right, I guess. Like, I don't think by any means they're like super romantic, but like that, it was kind of
funny.
And I was telling
mean,
Sarah about it. She's like, it's cute. It's not simping if once they're
It is-
married.
it
And I
is
was like,
cute.
yeah, I guess. But I was like, ugh.
How long have they been married for?
Dang, I really should know this. 30 plus years.
Okay.
'Cause-
That's a long fucking time.
Yeah.
So imagine that, and then you don't see that person for 4 months.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
guess like that would make sense.
It would be quite, but like, it's not like my dad hasn't been gone for a while. Like, it's happened, but it's probably been a while since,
Since he's been gone for that period of time.
Yeah, because my mom was in India for a month with him and
Okay.
then left and then came back home to get to,
I
he's
see.
retired. She works.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I guess when you're married for that long, you don't expect to not see that person.
That person is just ingrained in your life.
Yeah, they just
So-
become such a staple.
For them to not be there is probably
It is
a
like
little shaking your.
you definitely miss them, I bet.
Yeah.
Even though you've seen them for so
The first couple of days is probably like, good fucking riddance,
yeah,
man. This is
exactly.
nice.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're like,
How,
man,
how
we're-
long were your parents married while still in India before they actually came here?
That's a
good
great,
question.
great question.
Because it's kind of my understanding that in that culture, the women don't really have many relationships outside of family and their husband, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you guys don't really click and bond together, kind of it for her. She's going to be pretty lonely if she doesn't get together with get along with any of the family.
Yeah.
She gotta
My-
make it work.
But
though.
she just
Dude.
kind of got lucky. I'm assuming she just happened
Yeah.
to click with him well.
Well, there's a click from a well is like crazy because like I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
Because they
We're
met-
just
hated each
assuming
other at
now,
first,
yeah.
bro.
They
were
met
throwing
they
hands.
met for 5 minutes before they got
Wow.
a week before they got married.
Well, I
so
mean, as time has gone,
Oh,
by,
yeah, yeah,
they've
yeah.
managed to make it work. Is
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah. Oh, 100% now. So from what I remember, and I'm sure my family, if they saw this, like, bro, you missed it so many times. But I was, especially my mom. But my mom was old, 28. So I'm 28, and when she got married, she was 28, and she kept pushing off marriage. I don't know why. I think part of the reason is my mom was super young. She was 17 when her mom passed.
Oh.
So they grew up pretty poor, and then her mom passed, and so they were even more poor. So my grandfather in India, biological grandfather, loses his wife, and his oldest daughter was 4 years older than my mom, so she's 21. And I think she was she had already gone off to be married, so she was gone, and he had 3 young daughters. My mom was 17, her sister was 13, and their youngest was 11. So it's really sad. He had 3 daughters, and in that culture, like you have to do a dowry, so it's already you're poor and you can't afford to marry your daughters. It's like a really bad economic state for their family. And so my grandfather and grandmother, my non-biological, is they actually my mom and her 3 youngest sisters got adopted by my grandfather and grandmother, who were actually her biological aunt and uncle. So my biological grandfather is my grandfather 'cause he's biological, but when my mom's aunt and uncle saw that these kids, right, these are their nieces,
Yeah.
had no mom, and the state of their family, they had already immigrated to America to go to Bible school at Biola and Talbot. And they were like, listen, they told my biological grandfather, your 3 daughters, your 3 youngest, have no shot here with you, which is tough. But like, they're like, hey, listen, we're going to bring them to America. Like, it's not that they don't have no shot. It's just like it's just the poverty here. I mean, when you go to other country poverty, like, it's not like here. It's like other country poverty, like third world country poverty is poverty. Like, my mom I did not understand her as much as I do now until I went to her small village in India and saw her house. And I was like, yep. And my aunt, so she got adopted by my great uncle and great aunt, and they already had 4 kids.
Damn.
So they brought these 3 young kids with them, and they're like, hey, we got to take care of them.
Damn,
and
son.
So the family that she got adopted to, they had 4 kids, and the oldest one was my Aunt Helen. I call her my aunt, even though, like, well, she is kind of like my aunt because she's so much older, but she's like my mom's age. But she was like, listen, you have no idea, Joe. Because she was old enough to remember, because she was the oldest. She was like 5 at the time and went to India and saw my mom. They're close in age when this was happening. My mom's mom passed away. She's like, Joe, you have no idea how poor they were. And I was like, I keep hearing that, but until I went to India, I was like, dang, they were poor.
Yeah.
They were poor. And it explains my mom a lot to this day, some of the things she does.
Yeah.
So, yes, long story short, they came here, and it was my mom's adopted grandparents, or my great-uncle, great-aunt, biologically, who I love so dearly. They're both gone with the Lord, but he was like when my mom was 28, and I think part of the trauma of her mom being lost so young was like what kept her putting it off. He's like, hey, you're getting married. And she was like, no. She did not want to. But she was like, her one rule, she got to have a couple rules. She was like, and he would just, back in those days, like just harass her, like beat her. He's like, you are going to get married. You don't have a choice. And she kept saying no. And basically he's like, I have to get you to say yes because you can't really force anyone to get married. So she's like, no. And eventually she just broke down. She's like, okay, fine. I just don't want to marry a person younger than me. And she thought that would do the case because she was 28, which was old for Indian standards. And my dad was like 34. And I was like, dang, what were you doing? So I was just, I don't know. Which is not typical, right? To be 28 and married off in that culture.
I love his answer. I don't know.
I don't remember, but he was like, his family was like very, I don't know why he never, you know what's funny? My dad's oldest brother married a girl that, just for a lack of the story, married a girl that his parents didn't want. So I think that probably was like, dang. So he was the second oldest and just had to take on so many family responsibilities. So I think that was part of it. So yeah, they got married and they met and they are good friends. But yeah, cool. If she didn't get married, it'd been tough because like it's tough now in American culture. It's easier, but like especially nowadays. But like if you're not married or in a relationship, I feel like there's a lot of loneliness. But I think there are certain people that are built for it, and we have a lot of things available in our culture that doesn't exist in poor countries. So.
100%.
But yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah. As you get older, it gets harder. We're in a lucky boat because for men, as long as you're progressing in life, we just gain value.
Yeah. Like
so that's nice.
Relative dating value.
Yeah. Again, as long as you're progressing, because if you just get stuck and you're not getting better in life or get to a point where you're able to sustain a relationship, because that's okay. That's something that nobody fucking talks about. A relationship is expensive.
Yeah.
So if you can't...
Some are more expensive than others, for sure.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So, okay. So going back to dating apps, every once in a while, you'll see that one where you're like, this person is physically amazing. They're everything I could want, right? On paper, they look great. But you can also tell, like, that's a high-maintenance person. This is somebody that likes rooftop dinners and they want to be taken out to travel. Okay. If you can coerce them into going out, now you have to be able to maintain that. Odds are, if you're not able to, it's going to crash immediately.
Yeah. Here, I understand that sentiment, and I believe it's true. But there's got, and I actually believe there's value to it too. Because I think in this world we want to match. If we were talking about the perfect world, we would match the most optimal guy with the most optimal girl that's going to breed happiness, which may not always be physical or financial. And I don't think people. That's the tricky thing about relationships. It's like you almost don't know with 100% certainty. You might know what you're physically attracted to and what you might financially like, but you don't just know another person because you have to think how complex two people are.
Very.
Yeah.
You can look at key points.
Yeah,
because
you
that
can.
person that likes rooftop dinners.
That's the dating market.
Yep. Rooftop dinners, going out to different countries, and being on the boat all the time.
Yeah.
You look at that profile, and then you match it up to somebody that likes to go hiking all the time, that is skiing, and we'll throw in likes to paint at home. Those two side by side don't seem like they'd match. So like, you can almost
just a compatibility.
It's almost like a window into if it works or not.
Yeah, there are key things that I think that are super important like that.
Can I see myself in that scenario?
Vice versa, like you might, if you're a girl, you might be like, man, this guy seems like he's into this kind of girl.
Yeah,
like physically, and that's always hard to tell. But like, let me just look at the girls he follows on Instagram or his past relationships. You're like, dang, like I have a type, and we've talked about this. It's like shocking, kind of like like where I'm ending up right now. At least it's just like, yeah, here's what I would love to see, but I don't know if I can't tell if this would be a good thing. I think we have made dating so much like a value proposition.
Yes. Everything is very transactional.
Yeah, where it's like,
I give you this and what are you
quality
giving me?
Person with these traits brings this to the table. This is what I bring to the table.
To the table conversation.
And do we have this interaction and this exchange and barter of goods? Should it be that?
No. It should be,
but
how do you see the world, and does it align with how I see the world and what I want in my life?
Should it even be that? Like it?
I think so, because if, in the sense of, if you're looking for a partner to be with for the rest of your life, then I think the most important things would be morals, values of life, and goals.
So yeah, like beliefs, morals, goals,
basically the staples of life, pretty much. In my mind, that's how I see it. Like the main core things, because if it's not there, like, I feel this might not be true. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Could be wrong. If the girl you were dating was very against God and thought it didn't exist, and you constantly had this discussion, we'll say like once a week, do you think it would work?
Probably, to be honest, probably not. Right. Maybe not just off the you don't believe in God, but it also just
there's constant conflict.
Well, not even just that. Like, there's so many outflows of life that are resulting from that belief. So it's like on Sundays, like, what do we do? It's like, do we go to church? If we had kids, where do they go?
What are they going to believe?
Yeah, and it's not just on Sundays. Like, what if I want to volunteer at church and work with kids and youth ministry? Well, you don't believe in church, so you probably don't want kids to go to that. So it's just like there's so many mechanisms of just everyday life. It's like, what if I want to pray before we eat?
And that's one of your core values.
Right, but it's one of the core values that influences the mechanisms of your entire life.
Yeah.
So it's just like
that's one of those things that you would have to be in line with your partner to move forward.
Right, and it could also even be more than that. Let's say the person does believe in God and believes in church, but it believes like a different type of religion where they're like, I actually don't believe this thing. It's like, well, we actually couldn't go to church together. And now it's like you believe in God and believe.
Yes.
And we still couldn't be together. So it's even
those are different complexions there.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I think with dating,
that's wild.
Specifically, it's sometimes you have to be more aligned in very key things
Mhm.
than you think, and less aligned in unimportant things
Mhm.
than you think. Like, it doesn't matter. Just going back to the value proposition, the value proposition does help match people, I think,
Yes.
which I think is a benefit. Because, like, there is some value to saying, like, there's almost so much choice. Like, who should I be with? I don't think it should be like, I'm this kind of like B tier person, so I need to be with a B tier or lower person. I don't think we should view each other that way. That's horrific. Let's just make it clear to the world where it's like, on Hinge where they're like, here are the starred girls that you should like and you should give a rose to, and you get 1 free rose a week. It's like, Hinge, I hate that. I hate that you think this is the kind of girl that's better than the other girls.
But see,
that
this is what I'm talking to. Like, this mentality is kind of what led to like apps like OnlyFans and stuff like that, because women realize that
I have an extra value.
I have more value than other women, and guys are very interested in me, obviously, by how many messages I'm getting.
Or like the physical, but
So-
solely on physical.
So why not monetize that and not have to worry about anything?
The wild thing is the value she's got is genetics.
It's genetics, or maybe it's just luck. Even like
That's-
maybe like
Well,
yeah, I guess it's genetics is luck. Yeah,
genetics is luck.
It's
You
just
just
luck,
roll the
yeah.
dice.
yeah, because like maybe you do have bad genetics, like in your family. You're like, dang, my rest of my family's ugly, but
Dude.
like,
Hey man, some people are just born diabetic.
yeah, for sure.
That's fucking genetics.
That is, I guess, lucky and unlucky. I guess you're right.
Just roll the dice. Parents couldn't control that shit either.
No way. And you know what it is? I think,
I mean, you could have worn a glove, Dad. I mean, just saying.
Just to keep it from happening.
yeah, yeah, man.
Just
it's-
know your offspring are not gonna have a good time. Just sorry,
There's
guys.
honestly,
I did not consent.
that's tough to be blaming your parents, like sue them. Like, I didn't consent to be born.
Didn't that shit happen?
I'm sure that happened.
I'm pretty sure there was
think that
actually
did
a
happen.
lawsuit
We're
somewhere.
gonna get there one day.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
pretty sure it
we've
happened
been there.
already.
Listen,
real quick.
yeah, look
Just
that
type
up.
it in. Just type
Hit it, Jamie.
Kid sues parents for existing or something.
I bet you it exists.
I'm telling you, I think I saw
I
it.
feel it, bro. I just
Um,
think, man, it's just it's hard because I think the value proposition. Let me just put my phone away so I'm not buzzing. The value.
It was labeled satire.
Okay.
Dang it.
But I did see it.
Yeah,
right?
you did
So
see it. Yeah, you're right.
there's
You're
a-
right.
yeah.
You know,
I wasn't tripping. At least I'm not making shit up.
yeah. The market that is dating, I would like it to be less of a market.
Interesting that you use the word market, right?
Yeah.
What's a market? That's where you buy and sell.
You trade goods. It's all transactional. It's all
Yeah.
value based. But see, the thing is, I think if it's gonna stay a market, we need to, and this is why it's so painful.
Mm-hmm.
Is like you need to. I think the best advice at dating is like try to de-pair that from your true worth and your dating worth. But the reason why I feel like it's so hard is like when a girl rejects you on a dating app after you go on a couple dates, you're like, I shouldn't take it personally, but there's no other way to take it.
Yeah.
You can't not take it personally because it's literally about
You.
and that's what hurts. But that's one of my rules about first dates is like take nothing personally.
Yeah.
But once you get past first dates, let's say you go on like 5-10 dates, and I've been this way on the other
Yeah.
side with a girl where I was
You're
like, hey, 10 dates deep, and like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And it really crushed her, and I really regret
It
that.
also sucks too. It sucks
Yeah.
being it sucks being on either end.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if you care.
Yeah, I definitely cared about this girl because
I
like
care.
she's a very sweet girl and honestly is amazing. I hope wherever she I don't know if I want to shout her name out, but
Don't
Yeah.
just say wherever you are.
wherever you
Yeah,
are, and
that's
you
it.
know who you are.
Yeah.
If you heard this podcast, you know who you are because we went on 10 dates and
And then she'll just see you. So.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
there's
yeah,
that.
you know,
There's that too. Yeah, I
She
forgot
might
where I
just
came.
see a character she hasn't unlocked yet, to be honest.
That's also true.
Bro, I'm telling you, it just cannot be de-paired from feeling personal. That's when
Yeah.
like someone that you've dated for a long time is like, hey, this isn't working. It cuts deep because it's like there is no
There's
other
way to take it.
no other way to be
It
like,
was-
yeah,
it was about
this is.
you.
But I think if we say we go a step too far and say like, oh, this person doesn't love me, so I have absolutely no value or worth, that
Mhm.
is even more of a lie. I think we should look at dating as matching
Yes.
people. When the Indian stands for arranged marriage, there's a little beauty because it's not like, do I like this person? Do I, it's do I like? Oh, I'm so drawn in the value that this person. It's like, are these people good for each other?
Mm.
And that sometimes, I'm sure, in the matchmaking world of India, can come to a value. It's like, oh, this person came from a really wealthy family. They need someone
Yeah.
from this kind of wealthy. That's
I'm
also
sure in
wrong.
any exchange that can also
Right.
like
It
that
gets
can always be
twisted
said, yeah.
sinfully and like
But now,
evilly.
traditionally in arranged marriages, it's the parents that are conversing and figuring out if they're going to be a match.
Yeah. So for my brother, who was like half arranged,
Okay.
my sister-in-law, her father passed when she was young. So
Okay.
her uncle is usually a man.
Mhm.
It can be a woman now too.
Hmm.
So her uncle, who kind of was like her stand-in father, reached out to my dad and they talked. But they also, my brother and my sister-in-law, talked. So
Got it.
So
They
were
already
like,
kind of knew each other.
they had met on an app and they actually wanted to pursue each other. So they did like
Okay.
FaceTime and stuff. And they, I guess, like dated more or less, like kind of how we do in America.
Yeah.
But it was also very involved with the families. Maybe not as much as India. So it's kind of this hybrid model.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because if the parents are the ones that are kind of setting everything up and figuring out if this family is going to blend well with ours, odds are pretty high that it would work out, and that kind of makes sense. If your values are coming directly from your parents, so
Right.
if they're communicating with other people that they're also going to have to interact with, unless it's a very just they are married now and they stick to one side of the family type of deal.
No.
But it's very funny. I was pondering this thought the other day. But marriage is more than the union of just two people. It's bringing two families together.
Mm-hmm.
And if the families themselves can't coexist, then you can almost assume that the relationship will either be a lot of work or it will not work.
Yeah, I think that's like traditionally the most human cultural way of looking at that. I think in America and the West, we see it as the formation of a new family unit.
Mm-hmm.
And you see these two people, they get married, and then we send them off.
Yeah.
That's like a American Western culture. In
Yeah.
other cultures, it's more like we are bringing these two families together.
We have deep family values.
I have a new daughter, you have a new son, and together
Exactly.
we are, because I think if you go back to like tribes, it's like how you would unite clans.
Yep. You would get stronger.
Exactly. It was that for that reason, which in Western culture we don't really think of it that way in modern history.
Mm-mm.
Here's where I think arranged marriages don't work. I think if you don't know your children well and you don't have a good relationship with them, you can't. There is going to be some aspect of what the child wants to say, like, hey, I'm looking for this, but if you don't know your child wants, you can't really look for them on their behalf. You're solely going to look for what you think is important. And at the end of the day, like, you have to think, there's a lot of people in my own family that, like, ran away from their arranged marriages.
Damn.
Because it's like their parents don't know them well, probably. And I think where that happened, what causes that, or another aspect of that, is like you want two families that unite in culture that have same values. Where I think arranged marriages really, really hurt is in immigrant families because the children don't have the same culture as the parents.
Yeah.
So you are taking a child and marrying them to another child who may or may not have the same culture as the child themselves. So it's like, here's the thing. Like, part of the reason I love my parents, and I think they know me somewhat well, but like kind of like on the outside, like, and they could make some good choices for me. Yeah. But the reason I don't want them to arrange me is like, I don't have the same culture as them.
Yeah.
I grew up here in Southern California, South LA. They're like, Joe, I was talking to my mom, because they look at Sarah and they're like, she's not Indian. I'm like, why would she ever have to be? Yeah. They're like, my mom's like, Joe, you need someone from your culture. I'm like, that's what I did. Where do you think I grew up, Mom? Like, do you not like, and I'm not trying to be frustrated with her, but I'm like, don't you get it? Like,
Yeah.
We didn't grow up in the same culture. You grew up in India and immigrated here when you were 28.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 28 now, and I've never lived anywhere outside of Bellflower. So it's like, this is my culture. It's like, where else do you...
Yeah, the statement should be, why aren't you marrying someone from your race at that point?
Yeah, but like, why would I? Like,
To keep the bloodline pure, Joseph. Pure.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't be a mutt, man. You gotta keep you gotta keep it pure, man. No, I'm a big fan of mixed babies.
Yeah.
They're the cutest ones. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
There might be some like genetic things where like, I don't know if
I
like
definitely take genetics into account, 100%.
like I don't know if I don't know if it's a blood type thing. Like I'm not sure if that's really a thing.
I don't know about that. I was thinking more height. 'Cause that's genetics. Like I'm already not gifted in height, so I
Same.
can't date a short chick. She can't be like
dating
super
a short
short.
chick, super short.
You
And then
gonna nerf your kids, dude.
I am. They're gonna
Just
be
give them super hops or hang them upside down when they're young. Straight up nap time like a bat, bro. From the ankles.
I do want them to be tall, but I think there's like, here's the thing, I'm not giving the height department. Neither Sarah. If we had
Kids
kids,
her family.
yeah, her parents are tall,
Well, there you go.
but my
Might-
parents
might luck out. That's
Tim's
fine.
tall too. Tim's randomly like 6'2", but
Damn, for real?
yeah, big old kid now.
Oh wait, Tim. Yeah, Tim is fucking tall. I was thinking about Danny.
Danny's like 5'11".
Yeah, Danny's tall. He's tall like my dad, but Tim is fucking like
Yeah, I don't know why he grew so
Tall.
much.
tall Tim.
Yeah,
That fool's like real tall.
he's big now. I love Timmy. So I think I have
Yeah.
the genetics, but like, no, I'll worry about that when I get there. I'm almost positive they're gonna be taller than us if we had kids. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
you've already the bar was set so low. Like you could be just proud that you
got good, yeah.
outshone expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, but does that make sense about like
Yeah.
just like you want someone from your culture, like my parents and
Mhm.
hey,
They
but-
see the world the same way you do.
yeah,
Unless you're a very open person and so is the other and would like to blend and experience a different culture. Because there is that as well.
yeah. I think that's part of what is like SoCal. It's like we
Yeah.
have so many cultures here that it's like less about like, I don't know. Do you find yourself saying I have to marry a Mexican or Latina girl?
No, I've actually gotten to the point where I would rather not.
Why is that?
They already have an expectation of how I'm supposed to be. I'm from the culture.
Gotcha.
So they expect me to be a certain way already. And then
And
if
you
we
would-
move into, let's say we start meeting family, then they expect me to know certain things already. I've never been around traditional Mexican households and spent a lot of time with traditional Mexicans, though my grandparents are like straight up Mexican. Most of my time with them was as a young kid, and then when I grew up, or during the time that I grew up, I'm gonna say much like you, because from this conversation it seems like it. I was kind of left to grow up on my own because I had close friends that my parents knew the parents of and trusted, so we would just hang out together and we all took care of each other. So we just grew up. So I only know so much of culture, but it's like I know my family and my extended family. But when I
Same.
go into your household, I don't know that I'm supposed to go and do this first before I do something
be all
else.
super Mexican or whatever it is.
Yeah, and people are different. Sometimes it's like family tradition thing, but it's you're Mexican, you should know this. Oh, your family doesn't do
Yeah.
this, but you're Mexican.
And you're like, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Or you
So-
feel, what does that make you feel?
I feel like it feels like I'm not given a proper chance because I'm also not being coached, which I don't know if that sounds bad or like, oh, you shouldn't have to be coached. You should just fucking know these things, fucking be a man. But like, I feel in a relationship, if you know the environment and you're bringing somebody new into it, if you can give them the most amount of information to be successful, especially because you want them to be successful, like you're bringing them into your family, then you should probably share that information. Like, Auntie Lola doesn't like when you give her kisses on the cheek. Just shake her hand. I know you're supposed to kiss on the cheek, but Auntie Lola doesn't fucking like that.
Why set me up for failure?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing, and it's also like, it's almost like I think there's a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in a lot of like Latin in Mexican culture, like it's like machismo. It's like a man should know and should
Yes.
act this way.
Exactly. You should have been taught by. You should have been taught by your father.
Yeah, right. Which is just like
That's exactly what it is. And I go, my dad was fucking working to pay for things.
yeah, exactly.
He wasn't around.
Exactly, same. So just like it's just yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I can see where it's coming from. And
So,
relate. So it's
I
just like, yeah,
found-
why set me up for failure and make me look like, a jerk and
Yeah.
It
Now
shows-
they already have a bad taste in their mouth, and I have to fucking try and become Mr. Perfect afterwards. Why not just bring me in as Mr. Perfect? You
yeah.
know? So for me, I've found when I've expanded beyond my culture, things are a little bit easier because they're like, oh, you grew up in a Mexican household. I grew up in a Pacific Island household. What was that like? We're going to go see my family today. Don't serve yourself any food or else I'm going to get yelled at.
Right.
So, like,
those little cultural things. where it's
Exactly.
like,
I didn't know that shit. I'm hungry. I go get food.
Yep.
You know, but God forbid I would have gotten myself a plate and one of the aunties or the grandma would have seen that I was getting myself a plate and
Before-
my girlfriend was just sitting there
Oh,
at the
gotcha.
table not doing anything. Oh man, she would have gotten fucking ripped. And the reason I know she would have is because this is from experience. This happened. She was like, "Don't fucking do this," and I was like, "Okay,
Cool.
I won't."
now, thank you for telling
Yeah,
me.
I was like, I appreciate that because I would get food, and she was like, "Yeah, I know." Sitting there, and I'm waiting. She brings me my food. Somebody's also bringing somebody else. Guess who didn't tell somebody? That person. So, new homeboy too, serving himself food. Immediately starts yelling, "Hey, why aren't you put that plate of food down? You go sit at the table. Wow, well, you should know better. You're the this and that." Just
Ooh.
getting ripped up by the family.
Yeah. That like her man was serving himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. That is very similar to some Indian culture that I know. Which,
Mhm.
hey, listen. If you're someone new to that culture, you kind of have to know, because like you didn't grow up that way,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where the
You're going into a place of expectation.
yeah
'Cause everyone there already knows.
yeah, and it's like scary because I think when there's expectations that you are not aware of, the fear is like, do I pass it and am I accepted?
Yes.
And I think naturally humans want to know they're being accepted, especially in a relationship context.
That goes all the way to tribal
Yeah,
because you're trying to enter a tribe.
I think it goes even deeper to. Well, yes, if we want to say that it starts on the earliest point of human history of like tribalness, which is probably maybe, and I think why we were created with this innate sense of like in the best relationships, you find someone that loves you and accepts you for who you are, including your flaws, but is also loving and caring and pushing you and growing you out of those flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's like this deep, like, hey, that's my person. I know she's not this, this, and this. Do I want her to be this, this, and this in ways? Heck yeah, I do. But what I see is like she is amazing at this, this, and this, and she's more than enough. Or he's more than enough. Like, I am beyond content. I am ecstatic. Like, that is my guy, that's my girl. And then saying, hey, you got to this point and you kind of like upset me or disappointed me in this way. I still love you. So much so, I'm going to help you become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Those are where the relationships are like, dang, this person not only got my back, like they got me, like I got them. And that's like the help. Like I think a part of a very healthy, loving relationship where you're like, dang, where you just take a step back and you're just like, wow, this person's amazing. Not only because they see me as amazing, they see my flaws and they're like, I still love you through them. And I'm like, dang, I think it's like something like I feel like deep down every guy and girl wants. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a perfect way to swing back to the table conversation because, yes.
Yeah.
So I heard earlier, I believe it was today. If it wasn't today, it was yesterday. But that what you should be bringing to the table is just love, openness, and acceptance. and it shouldn't be anything else. That's what we should be bringing to the table, and then everything else just kind of grows and flourishes from there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was beautiful and very true, because if you just come in with love, openness, and acceptance, it allows for us to be genuinely ourselves and see if we are a good match, or if we are drastically different, but we find each other interesting enough to figure out how to dance together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it allows that conversation to flow.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my friend Sierra told me this, Thomas's wife, because I had probably about several years ago at this point dated this girl I met on, I think, Hinge, and she was great. Kind of broke my heart. Where in this relationship, it was only a few months, but it only lasted so long. And the whole relationship, I just was always feeling inadequate. Like, I was just not good enough. Part of that was, like, my self-worth issues as a child. And she grew up in a really she had a really wealthy family, like, super wealthy. And I was like, dude.
That probably doesn't help.
That doesn't help. She was also very pretty. And that's not a bad thing, right? But when you have that context of, like, dang, this girl's, like, only half convinced about me, and I have to, like, convince her to date me. And she really does like me. Like, she thinks I'm cute and, like, funny. But, like, the relationship is, like, already on rocky ground where it's, like, you don't feel confident in yourself. And there was times where I was, like, acting where I'm like, wait, she does think I'm great? And it's just asking me to confirm that. And I'm like, I can't, because, like, I don't feel great. And I'm like, so it was one of those relationships where it was bad. And, you know, eventually she, you know, broke up with me, and it was heartbreaking. And, like, I think what made it worse is, like several months later, she got married. And I was like, dang, that's tough. In a lot of ways, where she, like, got engaged and then, like, got married. And I hope she's doing well. I don't have no idea where she is. But, like, I remember just sitting and just feeling defeated, because it's like, it was one of those relationships where you, like, I feel like I did everything. I'm, like, actually proud of the way I had handled myself in the relationship and treating this girl. But, like, I'd never felt great during this relationship. And I remember Sierra saying, like, Joe, like, I think you did such a great job from what I saw. And, like, you deserve to be loved, cherished, and adored. And, like, one day you're going to find someone that does that for you, and you don't deserve any less. And I was like, dang. So, yeah, everybody listening, that's what you deserve. Love, cherished, adored, honored, respected, protected. Like, you deserve that in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So don't seek less, because, like I said, the Bible tells us that we have not just some value more than the birds and the bees and, you know, and the flowers. We have, like, inestimable worth that has been given to us. And since we all have that,
we are the value.
We deserve the response of that, which is just, like, that love and that adoration and that being cherished by someone. So in a sense, yes, you do want to bring that to the table, and you should bring that. But I think, like I said, the marketplace of dating, like the marketplace of ideas, like, if you just come in with that attitude, it might not be helpful in weeding out people that you might not, that are some key compatibility, like beliefs.
Yeah.
Like physical attraction. Like, it's okay to be like, I have a type of person, I think. As long as you're willing to say, like, hey, I'm attracted to, I don't know, girls from Fiji. It's like, you know, that's, like, not many girls to begin with.
It's a small.
So if you're,
island,
if you're okay with that, like, if you were like, I need a Fijian girl, it's like, hey, listen, you can be attracted to that, but just be reasonable with yourself. That might take you a really, really long time to find a girl that's from Fiji, that has all the other things that you're compatible with, that also likes you. So it's like, good luck, my guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
but you better be willing to change everything about you.
Yeah, or you got to make yourself what they're looking for. That a girl from Fiji's looking for, which is, hey, if you're willing to do that and that's what you're bent on, fine. Just keep in mind that
might not be the best. I can tell you from firsthand experience, you might lose yourself in it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a sad ending.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
When you're just
on
like
both sides,
I can't even be myself because I have to be something so totally different. That's not good. But but sometimes you do have a type, and that's, like, reasonable, and you're just like, I just really want to end up with this.
Types can be dangerous, though.
They can be, because they can blind you from the important things.
They can also be a response to traumas in your past as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's like, in dating, this is where I was not good at this. I didn't grow up with a lot of freedom. I was always more. What's really good about my life is my parents, which I love a lot, is like they're like, you have to do this. So when it comes to something like chores in the house that I have to do now, it's like I have to do this. Boom, I can do it. Whereas like some people, like I have some friends, one friend in particular, she's like, oh, I have to do this, and she postpones it. It's like, dude, it's the dishes. It'll take you 30 seconds to do, 30 seconds to like 5 minutes to like 10 minutes. Throw on a podcast, listen to a song, and it's going to be over before you do it. She's like, okay, mister, you don't have an ADHD. I'm like, no, I don't. You're right. I don't have that problem. But what she's really good at, and she's training her daughter, her and her husband are training this daughter fantastically, and I'm very bad at, is like she knows what she wants to do.
Interesting.
I know what I have to do and how to do it instantaneously and well. But when you're like, Joe, what do you want to eat today? I'm like, I could eat anything.
Bro, same. I think we may struggle from the same thing in our past. And it's really funny because I just recently listened to a podcast, Diary of CEO, with Dr. K. This was great. Funny enough, I forget the dude's name because I just started watching or listen. Well, I guess both listening. Oh. But in his childhood, he said that he always had to do things for himself. Do you feel like you always had to take care of yourself and do things?
Yeah, I mean, like, my mom. What do you mean by like that? Maybe.
So let's say if there was a task that needed to be completed, first thing that I can think of as a small kid, paperwork for school. Mm-hmm. Who filled it out? Was it you or your parents?
I think that's a great question. I'm really, really young. I think because of my parents being an immigrant, there was some paperwork that they were just really struggled doing. We're just like, I don't really get what a permission slip is. I'm like, I need you to sign right here. You don't have to read anything. This is exactly what it is. My dad would look at it. I think he'd pretend to read it. I'm like, dude, I know you're not like that. Just sign the paper.
Just pretend.
I have straight A's. Like, you can trust me on this. Like, trust. Like, but damn, I should have abused that. Damn. Bro, now I think about it, I'm like, dude, the things I could have gone on the side. I don't know what I could have, but I'm like, dang, why didn't I do that as a kid?
That's so funny.
I'm sure I must have. I was a bad kid, but like, yeah, no, like, my mom, like, classic, she's like, I hate math. It's because like her mom died when she was like in high school, so I think for her it was like to lock in.
She also didn't really have any help.
Yeah, so she was like, I can't help you with math. She's like, bro, I'm like, mom, not even like should I basic math? That ain't me. I can't use a computer. It's like, dang.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, she's great at other things, like, but like when it comes to like cooking, she did all that. No, she was none. My dad barely knows how to make anything.
Bruh, your mom can cook.
Yeah, she throws it
down.
Yeah, she's getting older, so she's like, I'm getting tired. I'm like, I get it. Like, you were when you're prime, man. You were prime LeBron, and I'm saying prime Shaq in the paint. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dude, my mom can cook.
Fucking,
she throws down, bro.
That's
you know what I'm
funny.
talking about? Yeah,
I do.
dude, exactly. It's just like, you've had her food. Like, it's
amazing.
Dude,
she would make so much.
I know. She's just like, dude, she's a beast.
Your mom made lasagna one time, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. She brought out like 3 trays of lasagna. I was like,
all that
so happy.
Scratch. Like which is funny because she's like super into it. You're like, she's making lasagna. You know why she did that? I love my mom. Because back then I was like, hey mom, I told her like maybe like an hour before I'm like bringing 20 friends after I graduated from high school. She's like, you're bringing your friends over? And she's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna make all of them. And she's like, she knew. She's like, I'll make you lasagna because lasagna was my favorite food.
Dang.
So she made lasagna for
That's
me
great.
and all my friends, bro. You guys came over. She's like, I have to clean the house. You could have told me earlier. I'm like, sorry, mom. Like, I'm just inviting my friends. But, you know, my mom's a very, like, hospitable person.
Yeah.
Culturally, and she loves it. And I get it from her. So I think she was, of course, frustrated because she's like, dude, you couldn't give me, like, a heads up.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, sorry. I just kind of did it last minute. She's like, yeah, but I love your friends. And I was like, I was like, thanks, mom. Like, shout out to my mom. Like,
yeah. Sweet lady.
Dude,
great person.
Yeah, I gotta just give her a hug or something. Yeah, and just be like, hey,
call her, bro.
I'm gonna go see her. Just like,
go see her. You're
like,
close enough.
Yeah, exactly. Just like,
if you're close enough to your mom, go see him.
100%.
If not, give him a call.
Yep. only love them. Like, yeah, that was insane. She just made lasagna. Yeah, but as she gets older, but yeah, that on those kind of things, like my parents were. Yeah, I wouldn't say, but they were like absentee. Like they just were busy.
They gave you a lot of guidance, right?
I wouldn't say they could guide me in a lot of things. Like my dad didn't teach me to drive, like Justin did.
But that's hold on. All right, we'll get back to the whole.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wild.
Yep.
Like tools of life. They gave you guidance like in life. Maybe not through the things that you were doing, but
Biblically,
Yes,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
they came in clutch. They were just like, listen, based on our beliefs, this is what it means to be wise, honorable, and of course, right? Parents, I guess the best parents are able to give their kids any version of that. But my parents were just like, we're ripping from the Bible because that's what they believed. So
Yep,
yeah, they
that's
were
what they
very.
do.
That's what I think a lot of parents do. Honestly, they don't give them themselves. Like they give somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they
Makes a lot of sense.
they did a great job, and that's how their focus was on. But it's just, I think it's just like, I don't know if it's just being an immigrant where you're just like the freedom wasn't like there for them to even, because like I think where it comes from is like my parents didn't grow up in a culture. There's a lot of expectation in Indian culture, being like a Southeast Asian and a lot of like in that part of the world. Southwest India is just like there's a lot of like cultural obligations, and so like you don't really get a say in what you do a lot. And like they grew up in a country that had less choice. So for my parents, I think it was just obvious for them to be like, you don't have choice, you're going to do things. And naturally, I think with kids, every pathway you go down in teaching them and raising them is going to produce like a trade-off kind of, or many different kinds of trade-offs. So if you are able to push your kid and say, you have to do this, like me, you might produce a kid depending on the circumstances where genetically and just the way I was raised, I
Very
am
focused, task oriented.
Yep. My friends Thomas and Wyatt are like, listen, and I don't know if you believe this, but they're like, your best and scariest trait is your determination. If you want to do something, you will do it no matter the cost. And I was like, yeah, I realized that is
find a way to get it done.
Yep. That's like a product of the way I was raised. I'm a product of my genetics and my environment. But what it also produced is like, if I don't know what I want to do, I really struggle. I really am like, dang, I don't know what I want to eat. I don't know what I'm looking for in a relationship. I don't even know what I should be looking for. Those are things that take me a long time to just sit there, and I struggle because I'm like, man, it's like, and it's not really great in the culture we live in because it's like, you have so many options. That's what dating and the dating apps are for. It's like, here are all the options. And I'm like, whoa. You're saying I could talk to this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl? It's like, what tells me which one I should be dating? And I think knowing what you should, that's why I think in my estimate, like in my belief, like it's okay to be like, I have these things I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Determine if they're good and worthy of actually looking for. And if they are, look for them. If they're for, even if they're just for you, let that guide you, because if you don't know what you're looking for and you're going to dating, you could get lost in a sea of women and just be like, they're all amazing. And guess what?
Yeah,
they all
100%.
are, but they're not all amazing for you.
There you go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
excuse me.
It's okay.
Like they
Yeah.
all are amazing, but
I love women. I think that, bro, literally, I'm driving. I'm like,
I'm
it's a
sorry.
problem.
I love women,
Dude, I'll be driving and a chick is walking. She look good. And I'm just like, fuck. And I keep driving. I see another one. I'll have this thought literally at least once a day. I'm like, I fucking love women. It's like, they're just great. The shape's fantastic.
Yeah, the shape is
Voice is sweet. you know.
genetically. I think there's a reason for that.
But on on knowing whether it's the right partner or not, shout out to Barnabas and Ali Kwok. There's a book with a checklist in it. If you're
Barnabas and Ali Kwok.
yeah, Barnabas and Ali Kwok.
What's the book called?
Our Best Lives Before the Best Life, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow, I gotta
Yeah.
write that one down.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send you
Send me.
the Amazon link.
That's awesome.
They are followers of Christ. They
Ooh.
had 3 dates, and the third one was at the altar.
No,
Fucking wild, ain't it?
that's crazy.
Yeah, but Barnabas came up with a
The
like
second date was the proposal, right?
yeah,
Dang.
second date was a proposal.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
It's like
crazy.
almost as close as you get to getting arranged as you can.
Bro, online.
Yeah.
And they were in proximity, didn't meet. They went to school at Biola as well.
Oh, Biola's like right, down the
Mhm.
street, man.
So in proximity, didn't meet, and then she went home to Hawaii, and he messaged her on Facebook, or she messaged him on Facebook, I think it was, and then it just took off from there.
Yeah. Wow.
Checklist in that book describes things to look for and a rating scale so that you can
I
like.
love that.
It,
Do you remember
no, I don't. I do not remember it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's in there.
I'm
You can
curious
like
to know what would
photocopy
be
it.
in it. Like,
I'll send you a picture of it tonight because I
Yeah.
have it on my desk.
okay.
Yeah.
Just be like, what would they look for? Because, like, I mean, obviously they're married and hopefully stay married for a long time and do other things. But, like, yeah, it's just, I think that's the thing about, like, the dating apps, man, the dating market. Like I said, I hate calling it a market, but, like, there's some aspect of, like, it is good to, because you can't be with every girl. Ladies
Mhm.
can't be with every guy.
Mm-mm.
You're ideally looking for that one person on a dating app. So, what is that going to take? And if your standards are too crazy, like I need a guy that makes $1 million a year, is 6'3", can dunk a basketball, score professionally in MLS,
Dude,
is a banker by day.
that's such a
own-
small percentage.
Yeah, just know it. Yeah, the world is big, and it might be a handful of 10 guys, but like, why would those 10 guys want to be with you? And vice versa.
Yeah.
I think, guys, if you're like looking for this girl with this OnlyFans body,
Mm,
you think that OnlyFans girl wants to be with you? Even like, and here's the thing:
maybe
even if
you're
they
the 6'2",
do,
dude.
is that a good thing
Uh,
on both sides? Like, is that going to lead to the healthiest relationship for you?
Personally, I don't think so, because then you're looking at external things
Yeah,
to be the foundation of something
a
that's
lifelong,
not external.
lifelong commitment. That's something. Yeah, exactly. It's something that's that with time might stop being external and predominantly become something internal.
Well, so that's why I say not external, because sure, at first it might be external. It's the excitement. In a very physical and just real world sense, there's a release of endorphins. Again,
Yeah.
Serotonin, how we were talking, you see a new person, there's the excitement, right? After that goes away, it's how good is this person for my mental health? Because there's relationships where, sure, it's not abusive, it's not whatever, but it can be, how we've talked, like super toxic.
Yeah, or you don't feel you can be yourself or honest. You can't be. You don't feel
Exactly.
adequate. You don't feel like this person. I inspire them. It can just be
Mhm.
even just something as mundane as like it's kind of boring and like like our conversations don't exist. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, it goes both ways, and I think that's why I'm like I hate, like I said, I hate the idea of it being a market, but if it comes down to like, hey, if this is what helps you find and narrow your choices, because that's what the dating apps, I think, prey. That's how they entice people. It's like there is the illusion, at least the illusion, because like I said, these aren't all your actual choices, because like it's just going to show you pictures, right? Some of them might not even be real people. Like there might be bots.
Yeah, that's true. Or the edited.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just like, hey, these are the illusion of the choices that you have. They might not even exist. So, yeah. But like I said, being a market just feels like it's so commodified and it's so can be so personally demeaning. Like you have to, like, listen, there are some attractive women out there on dating apps where you're just like, wow, these are great pictures. And not only are you attractive, you are my type. But like, I also don't feel great making a judgment about you based on your appearance alone. And that's why they're like, yeah, use the dating profile. It's like, well, for guys, it's like, I'm not going to spend 20. I tend to. So like, friend that we all know, I have a friend who on the dating app just keeps writing. He's like, dude, you're reading the profiles? He's like, this is what he grabs my phone. I'm like, what are you doing? He just, I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't, how do I know what this girl is like? Like, I just have, like, I don't even know what her pictures look like. He's like, it doesn't matter. I was like, okay, I see that being efficient, and I've done that a couple times, but like, I kind of want to go through their profile and be like, yo, what is this girl like? Because like, I had some like always dating red flags where it's like, if a girl was flipping off the camera, I don't know why, but I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
More often than not, I'm not gonna swipe right.
got a
Even
little
if-
bit of attitude.
I think like it's just like I think it was like part of my brain thought like this person maybe
Confrontational.
no not confrontational, but like maybe like too risky.
Maybe.
Mm.
Like they're like
So you're saying you're scared of risk, Joe?
I think like I think my mind might say I want a stable relationship. So like if there's a risky person, it's just like, oh, this person like doesn't really. But like there was something attractive about it too. Like there was always like, dang, this girl's really attractive because she doesn't care what people think about her. You know what I'm saying?
That is also true. She's fucking, she's wild. This was
Yeah.
a little easy for me.
I appreciate it.
She wild. She off the chains. Maybe we can get
Yeah.
into
Not
some
worried.
freak shit.
I was. She's like she's not worried about what people think. So it's like that's
Yeah.
actually admirable.
Yeah.
But I was just like, dang, is that the kind of girl I want?
I like how you wanted to get a picture to not have like branded cups or branded bottles on here, and then you use a branded gallon to fill it on camera.
That's awesome.
Last time I didn't fill the
That's
the
funny.
picture up all the way because 'cause we didn't drink all of it. So I was kind of like filling as we went this time, and then I've come to realize that we're just water drinkers. So
Yeah.
I just poured it all out. So
We're just I'm just drinking all this water. I don't know.
it's good
Probably-
for you. It's healthy.
yeah.
Look at you.
I'm trying,
Cotton,
man.
cotton mouth for
Buff.
that contact eye.
You're
Maybe. Is that a thing? No, it's not. Huh? You have to actually have the smoking.
I believe
I'm so
so.
stupid.
Yeah. There's like a certain level that you have to hit of ingesting to get cotton mouth.
I always thought it was just smoke in your mouth would just dry your mouth out. Is that not a
Mm-mm.
thing? No,
Mm-mm.
it's like an
Mm-mm.
actual like a mouth.
Causes you to actually stop producing saliva.
So you want to know? I did
Huh.
some science on this. Little
Educate me.
Weed, little
Weed
weed
science.
knowledge science here for you. So
Excuse me.
Alex and I, my brother, we were pondering this because one time we had both smoked, and he got cotton mouth and was really thirsty, and I did not have cotton mouth, but I was really hungry. So we were like, why? I thought it was supposed to
Why?
be like you get the munchies, or you have cotton mouth, or like you have cotton mouth then the munchies. Like, I thought there was like a something to it. So we started looking, and THC, for some reason, the way the body reacts with it, it makes you want to return to homeostasis. So if you have a lack of water, you'll get cotton mouth so that you can drink water. And then you get the munchies because
You're hungry.
you
Your
haven't
body's
been
like
eating
calories.
food. We need exactly.
That's interesting. So THC enhances your body's natural drives. Like natural.
To return to homeostasis. That's what we've concluded. Because then also, some people, when they go, if I smoke, I just fucking like, well, how do you
Is-
sleep?
Like, yeah, are you not tired?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that just with THC?
To my knowledge.
Hmm.
I don't know beyond that. That's a little nugget of information and science that I have, because we legit went and tested it one day. I ate normally, and then after lunch didn't eat, but I kept on like pounding the water. I made sure to be hydrated. Aggressively high, hungry.
So there's like an anecdotal test that you guys did.
Pretty much.
I like this.
Following, I didn't. I ate food like normal, and then didn't drink any water past lunchtime. No fluids at all.
due to the reverse
As
test.
soon
Got it.
as I smoked, cotton
Cotton
mouth
Mm.
immediately. And I was like, all right.
If
This
you
is how
are
it is.
serious,
spill water on myself.
got a
Yeah.
drinking problem.
You want to tell?
No, I'm okay. Sorry, that's water.
No, but
It's okay.
the reason you get munchies and you don't get full when you smoke is because you also have cannabinoid receptors in your stomach,
Interesting.
and they actually get activated when you smoke. So you get hungry and you don't have that trigger that tells you to stop eating anymore.
Because the
It gets-
cannabinoids.
Gets numbed by it, basically.
Sick.
Wow,
But
interesting.
those same cannabinoid receptors in your stomach are what leads to what is it? CHS, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, where
What's
it's
that?
like people like heavy usage daily, like literally like going through ounces a day, you
Damn.
get basically it just triggers those receptors in your stomach, and you just violently vomit so bad that it's called like scromiting, because people are just like screaming and vomiting in pain.
Ew.
Ooh.
I mean, I've heard of greening out where you
But
smoke
it's-
too much and puke,
yeah.
but I've never.
It's
Greening
essentially the
out.
same thing.
Never heard of
Huh.
Just triggers
Interesting.
those stomach receptors, make you tummy unhappy.
Mm.
It's fun.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, like, I know when cannabis was like first, like I guess 20 years ago, they were like using it to treat cancer patients that were having issues
Yeah.
with hunger from chemotherapy.
I heard the other day that Parkinson's has to do with restriction of blood flow or something like that
Mm.
to the brain. Like not enough oxygen is getting to the brain through the blood, and that's why THC helps with Parkinson's, because it's a vasodilator, so it
Mm.
allows more blood in through the brain. Because essentially what's happening is for all of the gaming nerds, Parkinson's is basically like you're pinging.
Mm.
So your brain is
I'm not a gaming nerd. I'm so bad at video
okay.
games.
It's okay. I don't know how to describe ping, but I know what it is. If you could pull it up, that'd be great. Or if you know how to describe ping,
Just like lagging, basically.
pretty much.
Input lag.
Input
Really?
lag. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the
What does
brain
it
is
stand
trying to
for?
send a signal, but it's the oxygen is so restricted that there's little blips where essentially the brain is not firing.
Mm. Is ping an acronym for something? No. Okay. I thought it was like post.
It's like
Oh.
sort of like radar. When you ping something, you're sending a message and trying to get something back.
I see. So the ping is like, yay, I'm
Yeah,
pinged
it's-
you.
It's a measurement of how fast your connection is to a server.
So it's basically, let me hit that server and see what the response is, like
Mhm.
the echo response.
Exactly.
Okay.
How long your send takes to get there, and how long a response takes to get
So
back.
is it the lower your ping is,
The better.
the better, right?
Yeah, the faster that
It's
response
usually
time is.
measured in milliseconds.
Wow. So it's like sonar and like underwater, like submarine things where it's like doop, and they have like the little thing and they see that it's like
Yeah.
Ping, yeah.
And then they see the dot appear.
yeah, because
Except it's
water
not-
as a medium compared to air, it's insane. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude,
Bro.
I am so bad. On a side note, at video games, it's tragic. So I've been playing Fortnite, which I really enjoy. With like Brett Chavarier. Oh, Brett says hi.
Shout out to Brett. What's up, Brett?
He's a
He's
doctor.
a cool dude. What?
Yes, he's an
That's
orthopedic
fucking
surgeon.
cool.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's an orthopedic surgeon?
He's doing sports medicine, like orthopedic surgeries. Yeah, he's a
Shit,
he's a
bro.
resident now, and him and John Toffick and Ryan Farquhar, all
Dude,
these
I
super
saw-
smart kids.
I saw Tofik in his residency,
Yeah,
and not like actually, but on Instagram I saw he got his residency. I was
yeah,
like, fucking
yeah. He's
cool,
doing internal
dude.
medicine.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he's in the hospital and good for him. Dude, they're so smart.
Do you know what Farquhar is doing?
He's a PA, so he's doing he was doing emergency medicine.
Whoa.
Yeah, he saw some
Okay.
crazy things.
I bet I was in there.
I don't know if he's yeah, dude, he saw some things.
I bet.
He I don't know if
Those are
he's
three
doing
dudes I'd
emergency.
love to talk to again.
Dude, they're so smart.
I
And
bet. Fucking
they're so-
geniuses. That's why I couldn't converse with them before. I was too dumb.
dude, honestly, I still am too dumb. they're so smart, but they're so down to earth too. So I love them all.
Yeah.
So I played Fortnite with them,
That's so cool.
and
Tell him I said what's up.
oh yeah, Brett was like, dude, say what up, Eric. I was like, dude, I'm telling, say what up, Eric. He's like, yo,
Shout out
So-
to all three of them.
yeah,
Love you guys.
amazing guys. Alex Wu, who's just a
Dude, I haven't seen or talked to Alex in a while, but he's also a fucking unit too.
yeah, he is. He's been
Oh.
working out.
All four of those aforementioned gentlemen are fucking units, are they
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
They're all
I mean,
buff, no?
Alex for sure. John's still playing soccer. I think
Hell yeah.
when he started doing his med school and he didn't have as much time, but he's still shredded, bro. He could be.
He
He looks
looked
like
like
a ML. He looks like a Egyptian, like he was on the Egyptian national team.
Dude.
I don't. He might still be playing soccer
Oh, I
somewhere.
thought you were gonna say he might be on the Egyptian
Nah.
national team. I'm like, I believe it.
Yeah, no,
There's
he-
only like two teams over there.
Yeah. Ryan works out, and Bright always was athletic and
Mhm.
did sports, but right now they're all just grinding away at work. At the school, it's like
Respectfully.
yeah. Alex is actually jacked, so I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with him and the boys a weekend. And Justin Mann is. Remember Justin?
Dude, yeah.
Dude.
Shout out to Justin Mann. Love
Just
that
fun.
dude too.
Yeah, he's been boxing. So he's
Nice.
there-
With his younger brother too, no? I've seen
His
his younger brothers come around too with them.
yeah, his youngest brother is like competing in jiu-jitsu.
Sick.
Yeah, and he's a 155er. Brian.
No shit, he's big.
Yeah.
155 is pretty big.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just I don't get it. They're like, "Hey, Eric, we're gonna get this fight." I'm like playing Fortnite, and I'm like looking the wrong way, and they're like, "Joe, what do you shoot?" I'm like, they come up on me, and I shoot them. They're like, "Joe, that was me." I was like, "Bro, you scared me. You scared." I've shot multiple times at them running. I'm like, "Guys, watch out! There's a guy." That's like, "Joe, that's actually me." And I took a second. I'm like, "Oh wait, yeah, it says your name, dude." So me and my old roommate Wyatt, we're so I love playing with him because I'm like I'm better than him. So it's like, and he knows this.
I love it.
And so I'm like, dude, I feel great. But I play with these guys. I'm like, dude, I suck at this game. And I cannot explain it. Any first person shooter, it's comedic. Remember when Justin played Call of Duty?
Yeah.
And he was like
He was a god, bro.
him and Dylan were like pro
Gods.
players.
Yeah.
I'm like-
Legitimately, like actually.
Yeah,
they played tournament.
Dylan played a pro tournament.
Justin Tompkins was actually the first person that I knew prior to Ruben that played tournaments. Do you remember when Halo had online tournaments and then like the first ever Call of Duty clan tournaments happened? So Justin Tompkins and his older brother Dylan Tompkins were in a clan together doing those tourneys. And they would win.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah.
Dude, Dylan played for MOG team. Yeah, it's insane. Bro, it's crazy to me that like here's the thing. I don't have an explanation for why I'm so bad. And I'm trying to figure out.
Well, did you ever play when you were younger?
Heck no.
There you go.
Is that it? Is that
That's
really it?
literally it? Because during your developmental years, you weren't literally practicing or you didn't
Exposed to that.
experience it. So your hand is not used to the way a controller
Even with
works.
like a mouse and a computer, I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
don't get it.
You never spent time navigating like that, using those. Like I can't fuck with computer games because my fingers just don't sit in that way to hit those buttons. I don't mouse. I like trackpad, and for me, like even that's like I'd rather pen and paper. If I'm being like 100% honest, I'd rather pen and paper and like draw and write shit out because I'm not fast typing, and then I'm just really not. It's garbage.
I'm actually
It's
pretty fast at typing.
It's the practice. I mean,
Yeah.
you make those brain connections or you don't, and then as you
I've
get
gotten-
older, you have to spend more time.
Yeah, I've
Like,
gotten proficient with like these 3 fingers, you know.
Like,
I'm
bro.
decent with that.
I've been typing since junior high, like taking classes
There
in
you
school.
go.
And Eric and I, the first podcast I was on, we were driving around on a side quest, and I was just in there with him, driving, looking up, just typing.
Dude, the first time I ever saw him type, I think I told him, I was like, I'm jealous of the way you can do that. Because he like, legit, we were working, he goes like this, huh?
Touch type.
And he's still typing out what he fucking wants and, like, having a conversation or listening to what I was saying.
I might not
So
be
that's
that
fucking
good,
nuts.
but I can touch type. I work behind, work a desk job.
Yeah.
So. Dude, it is. Yeah, it's a skill, I guess, if you think about it. And like, if you were exposed to it as a kid, you're gonna have that like more like fluency in it.
Mhm.
But like, there's just like it's got to a point where like we need Joe in our matchmaking because he lowers our lobby amount so much. And I'm not joking. They're like, Joe, we need you to get on, not because we need you, but because we need you.
You need to change your in-game name to the Anchor.
Dude,
That's
dude.
so funny.
We won today in Fortnite, and so Brett was like messing around and dead for like half the match, and I had 4 kills, all bots. And I'm like, in the last fight, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna finally end the game with more kills than Brett. He ended with more kills than me.
Last minute clutching
Dude,
it, huh?
I was so sad. I was so and
It's
he was
okay.
like dead, and we revived him, and he was gone for like half the game, bro. I was like, dang, what am I do? Why am I so bad?
I must go. I have a mission to achieve. He took off.
She just like died, and like we're like, all right, we'll revive you. And I was like, dang, I am trash. They got like 13 kills, 10 kills.
If it makes you
I'm
feel
at
better.
4.
So I never got to play with, like, on a team with Justin. So my experience was just getting murked by him. But the people I did get to play with was Sebastian. I played a lot with Sebastian. We played Call of Duty, and he was fucking good too.
Dude,
Like
I don't get it.
I would watch Sebastian and Justin play video games, and it would be like watching Vegeta and Goku fighting. I was like,
dude,
how the fuck y'all doing this?
exactly same.
So I started playing online. This is maybe like probably like ninth grade actually, ninth grade, and straight up remember team deathmatch, one fucking kill. 1 kill or 0 kills, like that's what I'm averaging, but I died like 15 times. Like that was my minimum.
That's
so
me. Yeah.
don't feel bad. Like that's where I started
Dude, that
too.
was
So
my-
like, you know, you're chilling, bro. You're good.
Dude,
If you like video games, just keep playing. You'll get better.
I was always the top of my friend group. So
really, dude, yeah.
I was that friend.
We're not
where-
the same, man.
Where a game would come out and you wouldn't hear from me from like 3 or 4 days.
Nice.
And then I'd be like, I beat it. I can play online multiplayer now.
That was
Wow.
yeah. That was like Sebastian. New game would come out, and he's like, "All right, done. Campaign done. Online. Let's go." For me, I was like, I barely got the old one. The fuck?
yeah, like, I'm like, campaign. There's a campaign in Fortnite. Like, what do you mean the side quest? Oh, wait, you
The
could.
side quest?
You,
I
they're
didn't
like,
know there was side quests and campaign
yeah,
in Fortnite.
yeah, you can. They're like,
That's
you.
lit.
Bro, I started playing Fortnite when it was Defend Against the Storm before PvP. It was literally just like a
What?
base building game where you.
Like the zombies would come.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That was all it
What?
was. That was literally
Sick.
all it was.
That's
Just
pretty dope.
enemies, like waves of enemies, almost like third-person Nazi zombies, but
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like Fortnite. Yeah,
Awesome.
you can
Thank you.
build shit. Yeah, it was weird.
But they made it just revolutionized with
Bro.
like IP and.
Yeah, I remember my friends were like, "Yeah, let's go play Fortnite," and I logged in and I was like, "What the fuck is all this?"
Have you played it since?
No.
Okay, it's super fun.
Like, what is all this
It's a
bullshit?
goofy looking game, but what is just like the mechanics and dude, Fortnite. There's always gonna be a game of the year. I think there's gotta be a game of the century. Truly, I think Fortnite,
Among Us. Oh, never mind.
Ooh.
dude. I think game of the century. When you think of the last 100 years, dude, Fortnite and I don't know, maybe like chess or something. I don't know. Chess is way old. Chess is like thousands of
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Chess
I mean,
is very old.
You know, Pong came out within the last 100 years, right?
Yeah, but
First video game
That's
did.
the original video
There
game.
hasn't,
Yeah,
there hasn't been video
It
games
hasn't
for
been
100 years
around
yet.
that
Yeah, yeah,
long.
yeah.
I think we have to make it to like 2070, or
Oh,
is it 2080?
Let me look it up.
It might be
Let me look it up.
2080 something.
okay, okay, game of the decade, probably Fortnite.
Did it come out
Game
this
of the
decade?
Fortnite.
I'm pretty sure it's like 13,
2018?
14 years old.
Wow.
Oh, I guess if you're talking OG,
Just
that
like
makes sense
how
as to
long it's
why I
been
always said
around.
Fortnite too.
Yeah. Fucking. Oh, 2017. 7 years old.
Dude, it's incredible. It's incredible that they refreshed the content. They had the Incredibles. I bought a Frozone skin, and I was like, "What the heck? I can be Frozone and shoot my friends and build walls and stuff, and then like get a jetpack, and then get like the freaking Iron Man suit." Like,
That's pretty sick.
dude, if you were a kid, I'm gonna keep it honest, you parents and teachers.
1958 First video game.
1958 was it?
Mm.
It was Pong.
Essentially, it was like tennis for two, where it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah. They're like they Pong it. Yeah, they like ping, but it's
it
Pong.
was
The
Pong
Atari?
before Pong, basically.
Wow.
Was it the what console was it, or was it just like a little thing you plug
Probably
in
the
the TV?
computer screen.
It was
No computer. Old school TV.
it
Had
was
to be like a box
moving
TV.
graphics on an oscilloscope.
Oscilloscope. Wow.
Oh, that's even older than the TV.
Yeah, that's incredible,
That's wild. It's
Yeah.
literally Pong before Pong. That's crazy.
dude. Video games are amazing in this day and age because one, like, my friends who are literally we all live together now, but Brett was in St. Louis in med school. We would hang out by playing Fortnite, catching up.
Yeah.
You know, when John was in Clovis doing med school, it's like, dude, that's like the ways you keep with people now. And like
Yeah.
honestly, I think there's like a stereotype, and it probably is true. I don't play those type of video games where like girls like, all my boyfriend does is play video games by himself all alone. It's like that probably is true,
Yep.
but you'd be surprised the community he probably does have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But also, kids in my youth group, like they're like, yeah, we put on Fortnite, and we talked and chatted, and we played video games. I'm like, and it's kind of this way that you actually spend time together. That's like
Yeah.
really kind of cool.
You're doing an activity together.
Yeah, and it's fun. Here's the thing, parents and teachers. Fortnite's probably gonna be infinitely more engaging than whatever lesson you're trying to teach your kids.
100%.
Know what you're competing with. Like it's
100%.
Bro,
like-
they have like school lessons in Minecraft now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's pretty wild.
what?
They have like
Yeah, some
classroom
teachers.
integration
Mm-hmm.
for Minecraft.
That's insane. Like
Mhm.
you teach them math?
I just remember
Like on a
I have to look
whiteboard?
into it, but let me. I have to
So
check.
the ones that I've seen on the projector, they have half of it playing like a Minecraft run through or a Fortnite,
Game.
I guess walkthrough or game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just somebody playing, and then on the opposite side, it's showing all of the information, and then the teacher is talking. So you
It's
know-
like a graphic class or like a computer science class.
nope, it's like an elementary school class, and they're teaching them fucking math. And
What the heck is happening?
So I'm sure you've seen on Instagram where they have the Minecraft run through, and it's just somebody voicing over.
Mm-hmm.
Or underneath they have another video of somebody doing a thing. It's basically that they're doing in the classroom. They're trying to emulate that same thing.
so it's just like to have something going on so the kids have some sense
something to look at. Yes, some sensory relief. So they look at the Minecraft, but they're listening to the teacher explain things.
That is insanity.
Mhm.
That
And
sounds
then they can pop back and look at what the teacher is writing on the board if they want to, and then they look back at Minecraft because something's happened. The teacher's writing something new, so they look back at
So let's say just basically taking 2 feeds in at once.
it. But that's because of social media. And
That cannot
content.
be good. That
No.
we feel like we have to teach kids that way.
No.
It is maybe effective in if they're learning, but that cannot be a good thing.
It's definitely not. It's shortening the attention span.
Well, it's
Of the
telling them,
youth.
it's telling them, hey, the only thing you need to pay attention to is if there's something else going on to like keep you invested. Imagine having a relationship where it's like, yeah, I'll listen
Oh
to
my
you
God.
while the game is on. It's like that doesn't feel great. Yeah, I'll listen to you while Hairspray's playing in the background.
Yeah.
It's like
You can put a movie on, I'll mute it, and you can listen.
yeah,
Or you can talk.
but I won't look into that face.
I'm not going to look at you, yeah.
Oh, you said
I'll
something. I was
listen, yeah.
listening. It's like, yeah, you probably could do that, but like that
This is
sounds
fucking- could you imagine? It's
horrible.
fucking wild.
Okay, we can have sex, but I'm gonna put Twitch on,
Yeah,
pillow
exactly.
next to your head.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, can you just turn around? I'm gonna put the TV on, and the
Twitch.
the Seahawks
wild.
are playing, so I'll watch
Yeah.
that. But this will keep us both. And you know what? We'll split the screen, and you can put Gilmore Girls on one side, and then we're chilling.
That's the negative side, though. Like you were saying,
We'll
though.
go doggy split screen is wild, bro. Doggy split screen is wild,
Bro.
bro.
Actually, no. Someone do it.
Oh,
Make it happen, gang.
playing something like Diablo, invite all your buddies to come play with you guys. Bruh.
Dude, doggy split screen is. That's it. That's what it said. It sounds like, bro. Honestly, it sounds like Brave New World, like Aldous Huxley, like type beat, where you're just like,
Yeah,
this is not the world we live in, is it? It's like,
it
dang.
is though. Well, it's the world that the U.S. lives in. I
I
can tell
mean-
you one thing: it's a lot better than fucking Ukraine and Israel. At least we don't got bombs on us. So that's a
better
little
than-
side note,
dude,
you know,
it's
so
it's better than all, like 90,
lot.
95% of the world.
It's better
bro.
than a lot. yeah.
Probably 99%. Like, dude, it's like we're so blessed,
Probably.
and that might be
Oh,
problem. I mean, part of the problem, but yeah.
speaking of 1%, I saw the fact the other day that if you make, what is it? I think like 30 grand a year worldwide, you are part of the 1%.
Yep.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, being in the U.S.,
1% right there, man. It's like,
part of the 1%.
dude, we're not that big of a country, like space-wise we are, but think we're only what 350 million people in the world, right? 350 million. Dude, India has 1 billion people, or maybe is it 2 billion now?
God damn.
Bro, they are 3 orders, like they're 3 times bigger than us in
I
amount of people.
remember seeing a little graphic that was like, in the U.S., there's about 4 people to every 1 car. And in India, it was like 60 people to every 1 car. And that was like 8 or 9 years ago. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Like, think about just raw numbers. India's got like what 2 billion people, maybe, or 1.5. Like,
1.417.
wow.
As of
Does
2022.
India have a lot of plain land or mountain region, or is it for the most part all
That's a great question.
like civilized?
What do you mean, like just natural,
Is it, I guess, like
uninhabited?
yeah,
Undeveloped.
Undeveloped, yes.
undeveloped, wild area.
It depends on the state. just kind of like there are like places like Los Angeles, like Hyderabad, but like or Delhi, but think way more people.
Mhm.
And then there's probably places like Montana, but it's obviously India's not as big as the U.S. Where my parents are from in Kerala, like my mom is from a small village in Rani, where it's like it's pretty mountainous.
Okay.
Like Kerala's a mountainous state, so it's not going to be as populated.
I see.
And then like northwestern India is like by the Himalayas. I mean northeast and northern India. And in those Himalayan areas, there's not that many
Not
people.
yeah.
But you go to like a city like New Delhi, think of like or
You just fucking
like
cram.
Mumbai or Hyderabad or other big cities, Madras. You're thinking of like New York on steroids,
Yeah.
where like the density is like far greater.
See, that's what I was asking because I know India is
Like Vegas during peak season.
yeah.
Dude, probably
a
like
shoulder to shoulder,
many,
chest to
many,
chest.
many more times. Like yeah.
India's a large country, correct?
It's like I think geographically the size of Texas, maybe a little bigger.
No fucking way.
Yeah, but Texas is pretty big.
Texas is big, but I'm imagining the amount of
1.5
people.
billion people, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine like
India is the 7th largest country in the world.
really.
Sick.
Okay, what's this compared to the size of a state?
It's actually almost half the size of the U.S.
What?
Damn, son.
Yeah, it might be about half size. It's just
Damn, son.
it's in a weird shape. Oh. It's in like a triangle shape, and then it's got like a little piece off to the
Yep,
side.
the chicken snack. So it's like
Yeah.
half
Chicken
the size
snack.
of the
Is what you said.
yeah, or chicken something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes from the Canada border all the way into Mexico from the 2
Oh,
points.
top to bottom.
Yeah, and
And
then it's like
east to west.
Denver to like Tennessee, left to right, and then that neck is in most of like Jersey, New York, DC, all that area.
So like maybe like a third to half the size.
Yeah, it's pretty massive.
okay. So that's better.
Yeah. But it's kind of like Australia where most of the population is concentrated to certain areas.
If you do you think you can make a heat map of India's like population density and tell us what it looks like? I feel like I could be wrong but I would assume there's areas of India that are very unpopulated, like the Himalayan regions, because it's like, dude, you can't. Is it?
Mostly unpopulated. It's literally the edges.
Yeah. This is very similar to
Really?
Australia.
Wow, you're
That's
right.
fucking crazy. That's why I was asking the questions about a lot of land, like how the land was.
Mostly in the northwest.
Wow.
There's very little down south, and then the northeast is almost completely black. There's
Like-
like a few little dots here and there.
So that means no one's there.
No, nobody's
Northeast India. Yeah, because that's like probably rocky region. Yeah, man. That's crazy.
Wild.
Your reaction told me, I was like, dang, what's going on over there? But the big cities are big.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be. You got 1.5
is
billion,
wild.
bro. That's not million. That's billion. A billy, bro. Like, think about 1.5 billion people. You got to feed them. You got to have all these things.
Well, the other day I was thinking about 200 people just staring at you,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a lot of people. So
1.5
1.5 is
billion.
fucking a lot, man. A
Yeah.
million is a lot. You got to
Yeah.
take a million and do that 100 times, and then you get a billion.
Yeah.
I
Do a
think I don't
million.
math well, but I think
Yeah.
that's right.
Is that correct? Million, 100 million. No, it's
No.
1,000 million.
God damn! See, I told you I didn't math well.
That's
But that's a
1,000.
lot. That's a lot more than 10. You know, that's a lot more than 10 of them.
That's more than 200 people, I promise you.
For sure.
Can you imagine 1,000 million people staring at you?
No.
No, you can't. But what's
No.
crazy is with technology, I think one day, like it's happening. You have,
Bro.
are there posts with 1 billion likes?
I feel like there's got to be. If
A
it's not Twitter, then
billion
Instagram
likes.
for sure.
I feel like we've brought this up before. I didn't hear myself. I feel like
Me
we've brought
too, I
this
was
up
looking.
before, but like a really good comparison to visualize 1 million versus 1 billion is 1 million seconds is
Oh,
just
that's
over
right.
11 days. 1 billion seconds is over 31 years.
Wow.
That's nuts.
So 1 million seconds is only 11 days,
Just over 11 days.
but 1 billion is years. 31.
31 years.
So if there is 8 billion people, that's what, 248 years. A second. If there's 8 billion people on Earth,
248, yeah.
248 years of seconds of people.
If each person was a second, yeah.
On this Earth. 248. What's 248 years turn into seconds?
8 billion.
Yeah, sure. Dang, why did I just
cut that? Oh.
I did great math multiplying, but my reverse. Oh, it's tough.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was expecting it to be some wild multi-digit number.
Me too. So. I was like, dude, this is where we going with this. It's like, yo, it's 8 billion, bro. You just
see the repetition of 9s and 7s in here. 9 and 7 have
think
to
binary.
Be some type of fucking.
Think Morse code. Beep, 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 beep. I was like, thinking, like that's gonna be some freaking does not compute type beat.
I want to do the square mile density comparison though for the U.S. and India.
Yeah.
So give me 1 sec. I'm gonna do the maths.
Oh, okay. Dude. Shout out to every producer. Chat GPT could never. They could never. That's funny.
Miss me with that AI, bro.
Dude, I've been using Chat GPT, and it is incredible.
I know some coders that rely on it.
Yeah, that's me. I built an Excel macro where I'm like, I need it to do this project function for work, and I'm like, okay, my boss explained to me, and I know the business case, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how to code, but if I saw the code, I know exactly what it does. I know how to modify it. 'Cause I had good math training. Shout out, Mr. Wynn. I don't know if you're alive, but I hope you are, and I hope you're doing well. But you taught me math very well, so I get math, like basic algebra and algebra 2 and, calculus, pre-calculus. So I get that code, Excel. This is how I explain it. Are you familiar with, Excel? Like the spreadsheet program?
I mean, I know the program, but I'm not familiar with the using and coding on it.
Yes, I'm pretty proficient and learned a lot. Thank you, by the way, for the water.
You're welcome.
Excel is basically what I would call it Algebra 1.
Oh.
Microsoft Access is like Algebra 2. SQL is kind of geometry or pre-calculus. And then coding a program is like calculus.
Interesting.
If you think about difficulty, but it's all still math. What's great about ChatGPT is you see a math problem, a calculus problem, and you might not have to know how to do it, but you can put in ChatGPT and say how do I solve this? Explain it to me. You can show it, have it solve it for you. You can see all the components that are either part of algebra or geometry or Calc 1 or whatever, and then you're like, wait, now I understand the components. Let me try again, and try again, and try again, and eventually you'll just get it. And I think what made coding so difficult prior to things like ChatGPT is you didn't have that calculator to show you this is how it. You could have a calculator and you could go to the back of the textbook and be like, okay, this is the answer, but how do I do it? Explain it to me. ChatGPT, like YouTube or the internet, is basically explaining to people how to do things they were inaccessible before. So now, theoretically, with the internet, anyone can be an expert at anything, almost.
That's true.
Almost, right? So far as that skill can be explained and understood via the internet.
If it's something you can apply the information that you're receiving.
Yeah, if you can apply it. Now, if it's something you cannot apply or don't have the value or mindset to do, or, then you can't. But I think the internet and ChatGPT is going to democratize so many skill sets.
It already has.
Yeah.
The movie industry.
No.
That was a big old fucking wrench in the machine. I know the first one that comes to mind is Tyler Perry was creating I think it was an $8 million production studio so that he could make all these movies. And during construction of the latest thing of AI came out, and one of his people showed him what was possible to be done with it, and he was like, "Oh, we're canceling this whole project. We're gonna go use AI to generate all of our
movies,
background stuff, and extras, and all of this. We don't need a giant set to create a fictional place anymore."
Yeah, that's incredible.
So I had to do some dirty napkin math because calculators don't even go that high for India. But
Shout out
for
India, bro.
the U.S., it's about 8 to 9-ish million person a square mile, whereas India, it's well over 100 million.
Ooh,
Wow.
juicy.
100 million people per square mile. So
That's
what?
fucked.
Think about a square mile in our rate. It's like,
Small.
yeah, it's probably like just this neighborhood tract.
Half.
Half this neighborhood tract, you think?
You know, Cane Hill?
Yeah.
That would split it. That to Palos Verdes.
Can you imagine 100 million people being in here?
You're crammed.
I don't know there would be.
Damn, those cities are dense.
Yeah. Bro, I
Yeah.
don't get how 100 million people could fit in a square mile.
On top of each other.
I mean,
Literally.
that's
You have to think
it
they
makes
go up.
sense because it's 1.2 1.3 million square miles, and then there's 1.4 billion people.
Yeah, but like where do these
I don't know, dude. It's
Up.
I know they're like literally on top of each other, but like like theoretically, can you put how many people like can you physically put like think like what's that guy Mr. Beast video type beat in a square mile? Like if they could not go up, if they were just shoulder to shoulder, could you do 100 million? No, there's no way.
I mean, there's a certain dictator from World War II that would argue
Yeah.
that you can.
There's a certain group of people that brought another group of people on boats that would also argue that you could.
Dang, people really did. They're like, you know what's crazy? Certain people asked that question in the past, like I just asked right now, and they're like, we're gonna find out.
And yeah, he goes, well, I'll let you know when we're done.
Jeez, maybe I shouldn't ask that question.
Why? All of the great leaders before you did.
Yikes. Yikes. I'm like, maybe there's some questions you don't need the answer to. Like, yo, we don't need to know how many 100 million.
Yeah, no.
We're
I was
cool.
See,
about
the
to
question that
maybe
I
we
always-
don't want to know.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
The question I always tell people not to ask is how many dudes smashed your chick before? Don't ask.
Let's be
There's
honest.
No need to know.
Does it matter?
It's really a yes and no for me. It's really a yes and no.
Well, I'm curious to know. Let's
So,
because let me be honest. Every guy is gonna feel some type of way.
100%. But part of me wants to say that it speaks to the type of person that you are. I guess we're gonna assume that we're talking about a high body count number. Okay, I'm going with that assumption.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we'll just say over 10, and we'll use that as high.
Okay. Because I was thinking like 100 million.
Coming off of this India conversation,
Yeah.
100 million out of a billion, you know, that ain't that bad, you know.
not bad.
You
That's only,
you
that's only
was in
10% of the population, right?
untapped well,
Yeah,
full of
yeah.
riches.
Yeah. Honestly, your body count is pretty low. If it's only 100 million and you're in India.
You still got lots of miles.
The other part is she met them all on Tinder.
Bruh. the
Yeah,
Tinder
imagine
in
India.
Send Bob's and Vagina.
India
Yo.
Tinder, Twitter. No, India Tinder must be crazy
Yo.
matches. You gotta be like, yo.
Everyone is 0.5 miles away from you.
In every direction, up, down, left, right, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. It doesn't even matter, bro.
There's no address. It's just XY coordinates.
Yeah.
Just-
It's
just
actually, it just tells you go
GPS
that way.
coordinates.
It's not even like an
You're
exact
getting
location. Yeah, it's just a heat map. It's like, listen, you're there.
Google Maps just gives you an arrow. It doesn't even like try.
Yeah, it's just an
You
arrow.
point the camera at the ground, it just gives you a path to follow. So it just lights up.
like a video game.
Yeah.
like an
Just
objective,
Tinder, bro. Yeah,
Like
it knows the location on your phone. You just point it down. They want you locked
You
in.
follow
know?
it, find the chick. She's just got a little.
dude, that would be augmented reality. That's the next level of dating apps. You have to find your date. That'd be sick.
That would be sick.
But wouldn't
That'd
that
be
just
cool.
be a sick first date? Like you gotta
That would
find
be.
you meet
You
somewhere,
find
but
them.
you gotta
Bro,
find each other.
I bet you in the history of the world, there's like back in the 1900s, they're like, I'll write you a letter. I'll be wearing a red scarlet vest. And they're like,
Mhm.
I'm in New York, off the channel on 132nd. And you're like, is it this girl? And like, here's a hint. On the eves of March, I will be by the apple tree. It's like, dude.
Somebody else by the apple tree, like, was it you? Somebody else swoops your chick first, bro.
Yeah, it's a dude. He's like, yo, it ain't. It's Joe. I'm not your girl. It's ain't Jean Marie.
I gotcha.
Yeah, like, imagine trying to smash back in those days. The dude, like, you just have the amount of work you have to put in.
Oh, dude.
To get that coochie that hasn't been washed in a month.
Yeah, I was like, I bet you it was a lot easier. It was a lot easier.
You think so?
Yeah.
What?
I can tell you one reason why.
Why?
Consent wasn't a thing back then.
Okay.
There you go. I'm just being honest with you.
Also, tomorrow might literally be your last. So.
True. So if you itching to fuck, we gonna fuck.
Dude,
You know?
I just feel like it would have been significantly harder to find a girl because there weren't as many people back then.
Well, how far back you thinking? Because I'm thinking like medieval times.
Yeah, if you had a village and everyone was taken.
They
That's
do say
fair.
prostitution is the oldest.
That is true. The oldest business.
Dude, I bet dudes were just mad jacking off back in the day.
Speaking of which, Eric, was that a prostitute on the side of the road on the way here, or to get food? Did you see her in her fishnet stockings and stiletto?
I
stiletto
wish
heels?
I did. With
I
the
was like,
description.
Speaking of body count.
Speaking of body
bro.
count.
The first thing that I saw was that weird ass car whose headlights were like flicking on.
Oh, dang. We should be like,
I don't know if you saw it.
that's
Bro,
incredible.
I was locked onto the back of your car. I was thinking the whole time. I was like, he said, I follow, and I somehow ended up behind you. And I was like, I think he knows where he's going. I was like, we're going to tacos. He's been there enough.
Which one?
Tacos?
Yeah,
The
the one.
ones we go to.
Oh,
Down
bro,
the
that
street.
place is incredible, bro.
Fire.
Bro, shout out to
Fire.
the dude.
I don't even know who they are. The
Nope.
name, but
Just a stand by the side of the road, but
right
they
in front of
crush it,
Walmart.
bro.
all day, every day.
Dude.
Literally all day, every day.
Wait, all day, every day,
Fucking Monday through Sunday from 4 till they feel like leaving.
bro. They make their tortillas. Did they do the churros though?
They don't do the churros. Some other dude pulls up. They are so good. I haven't seen that fool in a while.
Oh, dang! I hope that
I
guy's
know.
doing all right. Because those churros are amazing,
They
bro.
were
It's like
paying for 'em.
$6 for like 14 churros or something. $5?
$6 for 10 for a dozen, I think. Actually,
Dozen churros?
some
Bro.
shit like that.
Bro.
Fire.
That
Or
food
maybe
is
it's 6 for
incredible.
6, but still, it's
Honestly,
fucking good.
Shout out to the people making tacos on the side of the road.
The Mexicans,
Straight up Mexicans, bro. I don't even know where in Mexico they're from. Doesn't matter.
bro, it's pretty lit. Some of them have signs. Some of them are like Sinaloa tacos.
Yep.
Tacos.
Did you ever
Tijuana.
ask those people where they're from?
Nah,
Dang.
nah, I haven't. They're the homies. They know me.
They're just fantastic people. It's so
yeah,
nice.
they're great.
Bro, I'm just keeping it real. Those tacos are. I
They're
like
good,
tell
huh?
people, I'm like, bro, like if my boss came in town, it's like I would want to take you to these tacos, even though it's on the side of the road, because they're that good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if we eat them out of our car. These are like the best
I
tacos.
tell people I know the best spot.
My bad.
This is the spot. No other tacos got it.
Dude, it's just so good, man. And I've had good tacos. Shout out Tacos Los Cholos, like the
Hey,
yeah. I'm telling you, but back to body count,
true.
bro. Here's my thing,
Hmm.
is like, on a spiritual level, I do believe sex has a spiritual implication to it, right?
100%.
But I also believe that like part of the gospel is like there is redemption and forgiveness in from all things. But I think on a human like man level, it's like I don't know. Let's say my girlfriend's like, my body count's 100. My first thought would be like, how did that happen?
My first thought is you must not respect yourself.
Really?
My first thought is how you had time for that.
Yeah, like literally, like with what time? Because like I've known her for the last 2-3 years, and like I'm like, when did you get the time to do that? Like, it's kind of like almost amazing.
I'm proud of you.
I might actually
Can you
be a
show me
little
some
impressed. Be
rules?
like, how you do that?
I'm not like saying like I want
Can
this,
I be
but
101? Hold up.
yeah, like by what method did you get all this action?
It's probably Tinder.
I mean, I get that, but it's just like, by the way, I've never met a girl that I think, at least I even suspected that would have 100-person body count. Do you think
Dude.
do you think it exists?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Dang.
Yes. 100%.
100 people?
Yes.
Unique. Different guys. I'm not talking about the same guy.
Yes, sir. I can open my phone right now, and I bet you I'd find somebody on Instagram.
Jeez.
Bro, I've seen. I'm not gonna say the name because they don't need to be shouted out, but they post videos promoting OnlyFans workers, and one chick was like, "I'm aiming for a new dude every day."
What?
And they were like,
I was
"Oh,
about to say, do sex workers count? Because that's literally what they get paid to do every day.
And she was like,
I was gonna say
well,
exclude sex workers because like it's a
It was because like some prostitutes are literally doing like 3, 4, 5 tricks a day.
dang.
Different dudes. It's
That's true. I
insane.
didn't even
So-
think about that.
yes."
Okay, so I guess the question is,
And excluding sex workers, I've heard of people in the 30s up to 50s. And I've heard some people say that they lost count.
okay, so I guess my next reaction is like I'm afraid of contracting of some sort of disease, to be honest.
Well,
Because
You have them just go get tested before
yeah,
you do anything.
that's true.
The part where it gets a little fucking weird for me is when I found out that a male sperm can live inside of a female for
Like 14 days or something. like that?
yeah,
Some crazy
something
one.
like that. But beyond that, it's not just like, oh, if you could have had a baby with this dude, but the female body absorbs the sperm, and then the genetic coding of the sperm starts to affect the female, and it will change features of her.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Now, this is scientifically noted, so
I had no idea this was a thing.
it's
would
fucking wild. It's new.
I'd like to see the research on this because this is
Can you look this up? Search this shit. Look
Search
up
up
like
sperm changing a woman.
sperm in vagine. See what pops up.
Sperm in vagines. Changing the genetic code.
Genetic code is hilarious.
If the intro song starts playing again, it's not my fault.
The genetic code is insane.
But yes.
The genetic
Genetic
code. That's just so funny. Yo, imagine getting your body count so high. Your DNA is you're built different.
Your vagina code changes.
You don't remember that? It was kind of like what I asked you that one time. I told Eric, imagine if you had to keep having sex with the same girl as you were trying to have a child because you had to keep donating genetic material. Otherwise, if she had sex with somebody else, the baby the baby might come out a little different.
You have to keep filling up the well so she can make the baby. God.
I don't think
horrible.
that's how that works.
No,
not
I
how
was
it
saying,
works.
imagine if it was.
I don't know.
That would be horrible.
The genetic.
You don't have enough time. I don't even know how to look that up anymore. Like I just
Anyways, let's
Dude, that one got me. So okay,
she starts changing. She'll have features of
the dude.
of other dudes. Yeah. So like if
Bro,
she had a
there's
slender
no
nose and the
way.
dude, I swear to God. So
There's
that's why
no way,
you
bro.
can look at it. Look at a picture of somebody in a relationship prior to marrying and having kids with them, and then look at them like 10, 15 years later.
But
Their
like that's-
features legitimately change. And if you look, that's why they say couples that have been together for a long time often start looking like each other. It's literally for that reason.
But pregnancy is probably one of the most like appearance altering things to a human that happens
Correct.
to humans. So I don't think
But
it's
what's causing that alteration?
that's true. It's the genetics. It is the sperm and egg and the fertilized zygote. But that's more on the baby than it. Well, I guess it is because the baby happens because of that. Okay, I see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. But like, if you're not having a kid, then
No, but it's still sitting inside of you, and your body is absorbing it.
so okay. Let's say
So not
hypothetically.
saying that like it changes the features as drastic as if they were married and they were consistently having sex and just pumping and dumping because fuck it, right? But you could imagine somebody that has been promiscuous, didn't have protection, and let's say had an injectable birth control and was having multiple partners and having all of them ejaculate inside of her. Like, that's going to fuck with you, especially if your body is absorbing all of that material and it's taking away little pieces. Eventually, you're no longer just you. Remember how I was talking about that purebred? Like, you're no longer your purebred. You know, you've taken genetic material from somebody else and your body is absorbing and accepting it and creating it into something that you are.
Dude, that is an interesting thought. That is a very interesting thought, and if that's true, that is very scary.
Right? Because in turn, what would happen is if you end up having a kid with that person, now having their genetics changed, it's no longer just them. You have genetics from all of the partners prior. So that means that's also getting mixed into your baby.
You know what? Here's what I think, at least for me, and you tell me. I think every part of the difficulty in relationships between males and females is part of reproduction that affects us biologically from however you look at evolution, evolutionarily, right? However you define that, is a man never truly, without like DNA tests, knows if his son or daughter is his or her son or daughter, right? Which naturally can only happen if, let's say, you're in a committed married relationship and you're married to someone and then you have a kid and then you're like, wait, doctor's like, this isn't your kid genetically. The only way that could have happened is if someone else had sex with your wife. Mm-hmm. Which is why I think men look at a woman with other sexual partners as such a red flag genetically.
I would agree.
Like, biologically. Like, it's in our hardcore DNA to be like, dang, this girl had 1,000 partners. Mm-hmm. That scares me. But I think it's because it triggers us to thinking of, what if this girl cheats on me? Because I think for guys, the reason why, like, if a guy and a girl are in a relationship and the girl cheats, it's so devastating is because it comes with that risk of like, dang, whether you have kids or not, like the idea of like, if I had kids,
lost my incubator.
Well, it's just like the aspect of like the repercussions of me, you know, fathering a child. I think it's in our genetics to not want to do that.
Yeah.
Shout out to every stepdad out there though, because I think there's something. Yeah, it takes a lot, and there's a lot of like.
Instinctually, most animals in the kingdom kill the young of others.
Yep, it is a
murder 'em.
It's a non-biological thing to do that, but I think it's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. Vice versa, I think women don't experience that same thing because they're like, listen, I know the kid I'm having is my kid because
it's coming out of me.
Literally coming out of me.
Yeah.
And if a guy cheats on his partner, I've heard this said in a relationship, and I'm not saying this, I don't want to normalize this or say it's true. When two women, like, let's say a guy and a girl in a relationship, they're married, they have 3 kids. When the guy cheats, often they say a guy cheats because the opportunity arose. Like a hot coworker, and whether throughout time, it was
extra exciting. And
yep. So take it off like it's more of the opportunity existed. And like the circumstances arose for that to happen. I don't think it's that basic. That would assume that every guy at time an opportunity comes up or a guy gets thrown something at his way, he's going to smash. It's because of that. I don't think that's true for any case for cheating. But they say like more often than not, and that was just like this NPR podcast. It's like when a guy cheats, it's because that one of the crowning factors, like there was an opportunity to. Mm-hmm. Women always get that opportunity. Yeah. So it's like if a woman wanted to have sex in this world, she probably could get it really easily.
100%.
But that's not so. Like when a woman does cheat, they say when a woman cheats, it's more devastating because like they could always have cheated, and when they do, they say it's more of a sign that the relationship is over.
Yep.
which I also don't think we should normalize and say that's the case because that's a double standard, but there might be some truth to that.
It goes back to the people willing to work something out.
Yes, and that's really important and beautiful. People, I think people do that, but I think part of where that fear comes from, on the male and female side, is like, for men to have a wife that's not faithful, it comes down to, it plays back to our genetics.
Yeah.
More than I think we like to imagine and think. It's like, dang, having an unfaithful wife, the reason it's so painful, it's like, dude, it strikes at this core biology part of me. Versus like a woman, it's like, man, my husband's unfaithful. It's like, sadly, we should want men to be faithful. It's like, oh, he's just a dog. It's in his, and like, furthermore, it's like, if a man cannot truly verify his own offspring or his reproductively, his best bet is to have as much sex as possible, which is why women are like, there's this double standard between body count. It's like, yeah, it's called biology.
Yeah.
It is literally just, it's rooted by our biology. However, I don't believe everything that's rooted in our biology should be normalized and accepted, and
Correct.
we should celebrate and say this is okay. We can change those things. We can say, listen,
Social constructs.
Yeah. Well, social constructs, but also like just morally. It's like, if I was a very angry kid and was like, I just want to kill people genetically, you can be I have the genetic predisposition to just beat people, silly, murderous.
Psychopath.
People are born that way. However,
they sure are.
That it does not mean we should say, you were born that way, fine. Go ahead and do it. It's like, no, the loving thing to do to that person's like, hey, I see that you were born this way, and I still love you. And with the right, I think, love and environment and training and guidance, we can help you be the person that maybe will always struggle with this to some extent, but this is what it has to do. You know? So I think that's what we should do in relationships, in healthy relationships. Like, hey, in all the ways that I have trauma or genetic predispositions and things that aren't great for you, I acknowledge that, and I hope you accept it, partner of mine. And if we do, we acknowledge and accept it, and we acknowledge that we'll work on it together. We should be doing that. But yeah, I get what you're saying, but I feel like the body count thing for a lot of guys points to that.
Yeah, I would agree.
What's funny is I've always held the opposite opinion, that it makes, well, maybe not now, but in, back in the past, it made sense for women to be less monogamous, because having sex with a man doesn't guarantee you're going to have a child. So if your goal is to reproduce, your best bet is to have sex with as many successful men as you can possibly get to. And if you really think about it, controlling women's sexuality has really only become a thing in the last couple of 100 years. So it's kind of interesting that you guys bring this up, because I think we were all just kind of horny and screwing each other.
As far as animals go, everyone fucks.
I think controlling women's sexuality has been since the beginning of time, because like you even hear ancient cultures where it's like
sacrificing virgins.
That's what I'm talking about. Like before civilization is what I'm saying. Like we were just sort of all screwing each other. We didn't really care. We were just trying to survive. And
we're literally animals.
Yeah.
No, well, I think
we still are literally.
I
animals.
don't think
it.
Yeah,
we just have a higher ability to think and process things. And so, on the note of getting cheated on and how it affects you, I think it also plays into they're picking, or it makes you feel like they're picking someone better, if that makes sense.
For sure,
right?
Getting cheated on, I don't think I ever have. Knock on wood. Hope I never will. But I think it is for sure painful emotionally more than anything.
I know a lot of people like to say that women cheat with their emotions and men just cheat physically. But I feel like it can go both ways on either side.
Yeah.
My experience, unfortunately, in both of my past two serious relationships, I was cheated on. And the last one, it caused a large problem in our relationship. I was willing to forgive her and move on. And, she was in a tough time in her life. I understood. Like, cool. I didn't ask any questions. She told me if she told me everything, then she told me everything. And if she didn't, I didn't ask questions. I just accepted that she fucked up and she wanted to be with me and work on our relationship. Unfortunately, what that caused on her end was a huge lack in trust of me. She always thought that I was trying to get back and get even and going out behind her back. So she would go through my phone a lot.
Oh, wow.
She didn't like when I went out because she didn't know who I was going out with. Even though I would tell her, but she would say that I was lying. And I'm like, nope.
Nope.
No.
That's like classic projection, right? It's like you are projecting the fear having like
That
Yeah.
or she was still cheating on you.
Yeah. But
yeah, exactly. It's like you were
to the best of my knowledge, she wasn't. I think, to the best of my knowledge, she wasn't. She had committed herself to me, but then was very concerned that she was going to experience the pain that I had caused her, I guess. That's what I boiled it down to.
that's the kind of projection I was talking about. It's like
Yeah.
you did the act, feel the shame, and then now you start to imagine like, dang, what if this happened to me? And it's like that is classic yeah. Man, just first off, I'm sorry, and that should never happen.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Such is life.
it's not okay. You deserve, like I said before, you
Thanks.
deserve to be loved, cherished, adored, honored, respected, and protected. And that person did not do that for you. And
I
is
appreciate that.
therefore, in all, like, and me saying this as a friend and someone that loves you, like, they never deserve you to begin with.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it.
And that's not even just me saying that. That's like beyond a fact. It's the truth that like you deserve that, and that's the inestimable worth that you have. Like you are truly priceless, and so people fail, and that's not your fault. That was her failure. And truthfully, like you didn't do anything wrong. Like you can't even say like, dang. The temptation might be like, if I was a better person, she would have chose me. But it's like, no, you are the best person, and if she was a better person, she wouldn't have cheated.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's just like, because like, yeah, you didn't to say that like, dang, if like she just chose a better guy, it's like saying like, oh, I deserve that because I wasn't good enough, and like in a place of cheating, like that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
No, it's just like if a girl was just like sexually assaulted, it's like, oh, she deserved that because like she wore the dress that was like, it's like, really? Like we're gonna say that that's the case? Like we would never say that.
I mean, did you see the dress though?
I thought it was white and gold.
Blue and black, dude.
Dude, that's actually crazy. It's crazy throwback. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That happened because the dude couldn't control himself.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, man. I mean, listen, I believe there's a lot of people that like dudes that sleep with someone that might not even know this person's in a relationship too. It's like it's like, dude, because it's like, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
because like I said, guys aren't gonna be like, dang, you're with someone. They're like, dude, you're hot and you want to bang me. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump at the opportunity.
For the most part, dudes would be like, oh, you have a man? All right, I'm out. I'm not trying to cause problems.
Yeah, I think, like,
this is not so much like, I don't want to ruin your relationship. It's more like, I'm not trying to have some dude come find me.
Exactly. It says like, I think most dudes know. It's like, dude, if someone slept with my girl, I don't care where he lives. I'm talking to him in person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially if you're like, dude, this was my girl and I like really liked her. So it's like, I think a lot of guys are like, shoot, if I do that, I have to respectfully know that a guy might come and like see me face to face. And honestly,
might have a confrontation. It might not just
we
be
don't
a
want
scene.
that.
It might be fate on sight, bro.
Yes, and it's like we
Straight
realize
hands.
we don't want the damage probably more than it is.
The conflict ain't worth it.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of guys don't know.
What do you do though if she doesn't say anything like on purpose? She just wants to cheat.
Okay, so
That's a great question.
This is
I told a buddy of mine, call him.
yes.
Find his information and
That's
contact
fantastic.
him.
So if you find out, this is expert advice for any dudes out there. If you're talking to a chick and you find out that she has a dude and she didn't tell you, you should immediately stop fucking with that chick, figure out how to contact that dude, and let the dude know. If it's gone as far as you already slept with her and then you found out, and then she told you, same thing. Just go and be fucking honest. Be like, I don't want any problems. I'm telling you as a man, this is what happened. I swear to God, I did not know. Do with that information with what you will.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Do you think? Yeah, I think apologizing is like, bro, I wasn't even intentional.
I'm sorry, bro.
Do you think it goes both ways? Like, if a guy knows that a guy is cheating on his girl, like, should the girl let's say you're in a relationship and you cheat on your girl with another girl, should that girl tell your girl?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, it should go both ways.
Okay.
I think if
you're involved in the act, you should say something,
correct,
whether
And
intentionally or
this is-
unintentionally.
correct.
I would also
This is assuming that it is a monogamous relationship.
Right.
Because if you're, I don't know. I've never been in a non-monogamous, whatever
Like
the
an open
fucking
relationship, so
yes, I don't know the titling properly, but
Yeah.
if
That's-
you're in that and it's like that's you guys' thing, I'm sure you either have an agreement of like don't fucking ask, don't tell, and I'm gonna do my best to not let anybody find out, like just to preserve your appearance or whatever, or like this is something that I discussed with the person beforehand, like hey, I'm partnered just so that you know.
Right.
You're probably never going to meet them, but know that I'm partnered.
Just be careful if you're out there and you're dating someone that says that. That's a red flag.
That is a red
You
flag.
want to confirm that.
100%.
Because, that could just be someone that is cheating and is saying that.
That's crazy. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
And it's like, oh, no, I'm in an open relationship. Oh, I trust.
Damn, that's
Just be like,
wild.
I'm in an
I
open
never thought
relationship.
about
This
that.
is the kind of relationship we have. We both get it. Actually, we both cheat.
Dude.
It's like, bro,
I've ran
that's-
into some
that's-
chicks.
red flags, bro.
Ran into some chicks where they were like, yeah, I'm partnered. I'm remembering it. Partnered ethically non-monogamous. And I was like, what does that mean? She goes, well, basically we're like, we live together and like we love each other as our main relationship, but we don't fulfill each other's needs sexually. So we both have just sex partners on the side and we don't really talk about that. And I was like,
That could
no.
exist, but the problem is you don't know that.
That's true. It could
You-
be an
it could
elaborate
just-
lie.
it
which
could
is
just be
fucking
a lie.
crazy. I never thought about that at all. That's
I'm willing to bet it's probably
wild.
more often than not a
You know,
lie.
sorry, go ahead and finish your thought.
Put it this way. I jokingly joked to my girlfriend, was like, what do you think of like an open relationship as like just in general, not even me asking.
Yeah.
And she's like, listen, I think 90, probably like 110% of girls hear this. When a guy says, I want an open relationship, they're like, we don't believe this is a real relationship.
Yeah.
So if you say, I have a real relationship with someone I care about, but it's open, you're probably not defining it the same way as the other person's defining it. You're saying it's an open relationship. The other person might just be saying it's open, no relationship. That's what I think is.
That's also true. That
You
could
get
be
what I'm
true.
saying? Like, if
Yeah,
a girl
I
views it
do.
that way, and also, listen, if your girl approaches you and you're a guy and they're like, hey, I want an open relationship so I can smash other dudes, doesn't make you feel great, does it? No. You're probably like, what's going
that's
on?
Wild.
What's wrong here? And then that's a
Why
better
would it to that
conversation.
question?
And
Yeah.
that basically is like, well, your next question is like, should we even be together? And that's a really good question.
That would be the proper follow-up question. I
Yes.
think, yeah.
And then if you're in an open relationship, and I'm being old fashioned here, I'm sorry. Like, that might be, listen, you might have that, but like, I would say that's not a typical relationship, and you just had to be very, like, I guess, different kind of people or strong people in that kind of way. What were you gonna say, man? Sorry.
No, it was, what Eric had said kind of like jarred a memory loose because I used to work at the Hyatt.
Okay.
And there's a lot of cougars there. And
Mhm.
I been approached a couple occasions by swingers, like together.
Oh, that's crazy.
That was odd.
It's
But
lit.
there were
Watch me. fuck your
there
woman.
was
Yeah, what is
more
that?
I don't know. It's fucking weird.
oddly more often I like 2 or 3 times I had women come up to me and say like, you know, we're swingers, but we like to not know about it. Like it's kind of hot to find out about it. And I was like,
Huh.
that my first thought was, are you is it true or are you just trying to cheat?
Right,
That was literally my first thought.
That's a dangerous place to be with. It's like, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
a swinger, but we don't tell my husband.
Yeah, I was like,
And
that's
if he finds out,
It's a
weird.
don't ask.
he's
don't tell
going to
rule.
shoot me. It's like,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, 100%.
These are like 40, 50-year-old dudes.
Yeah, it's like,
I
dude.
don't- I'm not. Yeah, I was. Plus, it's where I work.
Does
So I was like,
he know?
Does he know you guys?
When they're
cheat on each other?
so when
Yeah,
they're
did you tell
together,
him that y'all
that's a
supposed to cheat?
truly different situation where you're just
It's
like, dang,
weird, dude. It's
I've never seen that.
uncomfortable.
But like the question is like, dang,
I could tell you about some swingers.
bro. But like,
I didn't experience them, but
like having a dude talking to you about how he wants to see you with his wife is just odd. Like it's
it's weird
it
hearing
feels
stories about it.
strange.
because I imagine you're just an object at that point.
Yes.
Yeah,
Shout out to all the women like that have been objectified. I understand what you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
Because like it's like
100%.
it's like I just gotta smash it. But like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's like I've always how funny would this be? Imagine you get propositioned by the swinger family or whatever a
this
family.
is the swinger family.
I just
That's
swinger
cute.
couple.
Where's the
I
Pornhub
hope.
song? I know how this goes.
Like hypothetically, you gotta ask your girl like, how much money would it take for you to be okay with this?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
just let me join and we'd be fine.
Ooh.
Where do you go from there?
Then I'm like,
Bet.
dang, my
Oh.
at that point I'm so shook. It's like, you know the memes of Jesus crossing you over.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like, dang, I got shook out of my soul right there.
I go. I'm about to have 2 wives.
Bro. Let's just say, okay. Let's just say, first off, on both ends,
Okay.
how much do you think if you had a girl, she would be like, yeah, that's fine? And then how much would it be like? What number would hurt? And what number? She's like, yeah, $10. It's like, dude, that's
Dog.
that's crazy.
True. That's basically valuing how much you care about the relationship, or putting
see,
a value onto the relationship.
At the end of the day, it's like kind of because there's always that fear that like you see, and let's say they know, it's like, dude, I smashed this guy's wife, and your wife knows, and she's like, dang, I can't look at you the same. So
That's true.
dude, this is what there's something about relationships, man. They're just so powerful, and that people don't understand, and like really is like yeah, like if he's like a dude comes up and is like, dude, 10 million, I smash your girl. It's like, dude, 10 million,
Yo,
I smashed
My mind
you
was
and
like-
your wife. Fuck.
dude.
Every hole's a goal, brother.
wait,
Dude,
wait.
the other way.
I'm smashing.
No,
or
he's
to
smashing
smash
your
my
girl.
Yeah, no, I was.
But you took it both.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck it. You could smash my girl for 10 million. I don't have one,
Dang.
but yeah.
Dang, I don't know.
We break up after and split it 50-50. It's fine.
kind of how my mind worked. I was like, girlfriend, cool. Yeah, I'd sell her for 10. I'd get another one. Solve most of my problems.
That's it. At the end of the day, it's like literally, because here's the truth about it. Talking about dating as a market. It's
Mhm.
like, I do want to believe, and I'm fighting for this in all my heart, that people, because of what God has done, people are priceless, truly priceless, and I do believe that, and I think everyone should believe that they have inestimable worth, like an infinite worth, not because they deserved it, not because they're earning it, not because they're building it in themselves, but because it was given to them, right? In a way that God created you,
Mhm.
just that, and who He is and He's done for you, like that's where your worth is, and it's priceless. At the same time, 10 million is a lot of money. And you would basically say, yo, we could split it 5 million, and it's like that's what you're worth to me. And I'm like, dang. Or I guess it's relationship. And I
Who knows? Maybe your chick would be like, damn, that's a lot of fucking money. That could solve all of her problems.
listen.
Then it's between
babe.
you and your
It's-
chick. and
At this
it's-
point, the way I look at it is an investment because we split it 50-50. $5 million is I don't
Fucking
gotta
lot,
fucking
bro.
work any more money.
it's
We
pretty
can spend
much.
that time trying to find more dudes that want to give us 10 million to fuck her.
Dang, it's like a whole
He's true. He's true. He went to pimping, dude.
Yeah.
He
You
straight went to
there
pimping.
is
He
a
was
thing like this already.
He
dude.
said, "I see a business opportunity here."
I see a proposition of a different kind. I
He said,
mean,
"Fuck the girlfriend. I see the cash, baby. Keep it flowing."
he's like, hey, you actually gonna stay with me?
Hold on.
I'm gonna wear a purple suit, and you keep doing you.
all of a sudden, he started talking like this all of a sudden. Hey, did you find another one?
5 million is not enough. It's not enough, bro. It's a
You
lot
gotta
of
do it
money.
with the voice, though. You gotta do it with the voice.
No.
5 million is not enough.
Just get back in the
Okay,
street.
what about your best tech support voice then?
That's how I open the show.
Dude, bored.
How well do you blend in India when you go?
Pretty not well.
No.
I mean, I think physically I look like a lot of people, but even just in the clothes I wear.
I was about to say, like, if you let your family dress you up and you didn't say anything, would you be passable? Like, people wouldn't give you a second look.
Yeah, I'd be fine. I think but as soon as I open my mouth, they're like, "Yep, he's not from here."
Not from here.
But
Charge him extra.
True.
see, that's what my mom. She's like, "Nah, you can't get her. She's from there." Yeah, but like they'll know. And truthfully, India is like there are like scammers and stuff, but India is like people are pretty nice. It's culture is like I wouldn't say it's the nicest culture. Like it's not Japan, but I've never been to Japan, but
Me
I've
either.
heard things
Same.
about Japanese culture being very like polite and respectful. India's not that polite, respectful, but they're not like
Horrible people.
they're not vicious. I don't think. It depends on where you go.
Everyone has their little handful of
Every
not
country,
good folks.
every country,
So,
because
okay, India's got the IT hackers. You know what Mexico got? The fucking cartel. So
some would argue they're doing more good than bad, though. Depends-
Did you guys know that the cartels took over the avocado farms?
yes, I heard about this.
I did not.
The avocados you buy are cartel
avocados?
contraband. Yeah,
Is that because it's good
That's
money?
wild.
it's better money than the drugs.
Hey, that's
Did you
Just-
see how expensive avocados were during COVID?
actually that might be is that a good thing that they're? How do we feel about this? I don't know how to interpret.
Well, they're deeply integrated into the government of Mexico, so
Yeah.
no, I don't
mean,
think it's a good thing.
They did just murder the farmers that own the farms.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
not
they
good.
didn't like
Yeah,
they
not
didn't
good.
like the
And they
people that were
murdered
running
anyone that
for
couldn't buy, so-
presidency, so they murdered all of them. I think there was, if it wasn't 27, it was 37 assassinations prior to the final person
well,
for Mexican presidency. Yeah, they were assassinations by cartel.
Which
So
shout
they're
out
power.
to Ruben is apparently why he's having to postpone his dentist trip because
Sure.
there's another civil war just broke out in
Yeah.
Mexico.
wow.
Yeah, it's not the greatest over there. So
Shout out Mexico. That sounds
yep,
sounds scary. Honestly, not gonna lie.
that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
but
You know,
every-
Call
but-
of Duty in real life.
Dude, every country has that. I'm sure there's parts
Exactly,
of India that are
that's
like
what I
pretty
said.
gang ridden and yeah. But yeah, man, that just yeah, it's dude. I going back to relationships.
Yeah.
there's a lot to it, man. And shout out to yeah, it's being in one now. I was thinking like I was talking to my friend Becky, and she's like, "Listen," I'm like, she kind of helped me realize like one of the best things about a relationship that's committed, honestly, is like the companionship.
Mhm.
When you're just like, dude, I have someone to do, like, go to the grocery store with, is so much better
Mhm.
when you have someone to do it with. And that doesn't mean it has to be a romantic relationship. As long as, like, there's a thing about loneliness that I think is just so pervasive. And prior to dating my girlfriend now, like, for the last, like, probably 2-3 years before that, I was struggling with loneliness.
It's a rough one.
It is, man. I was going on, there was a point, I was going on, like, a 2 or 3 dates a week.
Damn. Just
Which-
looking for that person.
Yeah, like, honestly searching, too. Not, like, trying to just, mess around or have,
Yeah.
like,
Intentfully dating.
yeah, like, just with a lot of intention, hoping. There were a lot of first dates. And it was, I mean, I shouldn't say 2 or 3 dates a week. There was, like, weeks where it was 2-3 dates, and there were some days where I'm like,
Straight dry spells. Too.
Yeah, but also there was times where it just got so exhausting. We were just
Yeah.
like, dude. I think that's the one thing about dating apps that people don't know off the top. It's like it's new and exciting, but it wears off, and then it gets to a point where you're just like, there are multiple times where I call it cycles of dating or like rounds where I'm like, I have Hinge, I have Coffee Meets Bagel,
Mhm.
I try Bumble, and I'm like, okay, I've done this for like a couple months. I need a legitimate break because these are so exhausting.
Mhm.
I think that's sort of built in because the more active you are on the app, the higher up you appear in results for people. So it kind of like encourages you to constantly be on. It's almost like having a job to try and find a date on those apps, essentially.
Makes sense.
So like the more active you are, and then you get you get a bunch of matches, and then you're just like, dude, I have
You
so
stay on
much.
the app.
Yeah, but
Makes
then like,
sense.
but I think what's that thing where you get exhausted by it? Because like that's like the question I ask a lot of girls because I meet online. I'm like how like when I was dating, how has online dating been, and what's one thing that you're surprised about or that like kind of like defines your experience? And I would say 99% of them were like, I didn't expect it to be this tiring, this exhausting. I thought it'd just be way easier to find someone. It's like, oh, here's my suspicion. They are also looking for that one person, but the tool they're using, it's kind of like using a giant like scythe to pick a flower. It's like technically you could perfectly cut it and maybe get that perfect flower and pick it up and give it to someone. But more often than not, you're going to crush this flower and then slash it up into a bunch of pieces, and you're going to get a bunch of weeds and all this stuff. And it's like, that's it. To me, it feels almost like the wrong tool. And you have to kind of realize that it's like, this is not the best tool for this based on the way it is built. And so you have to be willing to put in so much work to swing this giant scythe. Or like, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
It's an interesting analogy.
That's what I feel like. I just came off the top of the head. Like, that's how it.
It is true. Because you are... Maybe it's also because you're on the dating app and you know you can dial in certain things, or you are looking for that perfect match, right?
Yeah.
But it won't really happen because nobody is perfect.
Right.
I've always said that the best thing in a relationship is that you learn to love somebody's imperfections, because that's what truly makes them them. Sure, you like them for the perfect stuff. That's what got your attention. But as you get to know them, there's little things that you didn't expect or that you aren't the happiest about. They tink the spoon on their mug when they're drinking coffee, and it bugs me. But after a couple weeks, you start to realize that there's a little rhythm that they're tinking the mug with. And then that becomes a thing. Every time they drink their coffee, I hear that little tink and I have a smile on my face because I know that's their song.
Right. Dude, I think there's something to that depending on what the imperfection is. Like if they're a crack addict, maybe not. Depending, you know.
They love to shoot up meth, and
they
when
just
they are fucking just up there,
tweak
man.
like crazy, bro.
I love the way their eyes flutter.
They start seizing out a little bit. You're just like, bro.
When they're foaming at the mouth, it's so hot.
I'm willing to bet that somehow exists, which is crazy to me. But I think when you talk about like so many relationships that are like solid, and especially in the mundane parts of it, they're like, yeah, my partner, she kind of does this weird dance, but like, dang, I love her.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's acceptance, there's a mission that there's like, this is not like what I set out for, or I'm like, this is not the perfect part of her, but like, or him, but it's just like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I think for me, here's something that I struggled with for a long time. I was looking for the perfect girl because I was trying to be the perfect guy. So in reverse, I was like, I can't just be with a boring girl because I'm working so hard. Like if I'm working this hard, I'm trying to be the perfect guy. I gotta be, the girl I'm with has to be like working just as hard as perfect, and that's not the case. Because neither of us are perfect.
Correct. You'll never be perfect.
Yes, and if there was a perfect girl, she wouldn't want to be with me because I'm not perfect. But she also doesn't exist.
That's true.
You are looking for truly, I think, a person you can just be with. That simply. Not like the best person you can be with, just a person that you can be with. Yeah. Because there's always going to be someone better.
Someone that brings you peace in your life.
Peace is for sure. Happiness, joy. And it might not always be every day.
Correct. Someone that helps in the areas that you struggle.
For sure.
Thankfully, this is a great time to remember this. I came across something where they were talking about in Genesis that God made woman out of Adam's rib, but later on, it's gone to, or it's described that a woman was supposed to be man's helper, but in the original Hebrew description of helper, it was godlike or something like that.
I'm not familiar.
It was the helper is to aid in the areas where man lacked and had similar powers to God or something like that. I'm blanking on the last part, but I really loved that because it wasn't like you were second to man. It was you were the missing piece to man, which makes a lot of sense because a woman is made from the rib, right? It legitimately is the missing piece of the man.
Yeah. You know, I think here's what's crazy, and to add to that, I haven't heard that, but I'm gonna look into that.
Please
in the
do.
Hebrew.
And get
Yeah, I
back to
got.
me.
Yeah, I'll come back on and be like, yo, this is what Hebrew
Yes.
means.
You start speaking Hallelujah. You start singing out here. That'd be
That'd be
amazing
awesome.
if you could. Oh, dude.
I'd have to. I don't know. I'll have
That'd
to
be
learn
great. Anyways.
Like I was listening to some podcast, and shout out to my boy that helped me, and Sierra who told me this podcast. Adam goes out, names the animals, and he's like, God sees that he's alone, and God's like, it's not good that man's alone, not that Adam, like my son, is alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, God could have just said, the same God that said, let there be light, boom, there's light, could have just said, let Adam not be lonely, boom, he's not lonely.
Yep.
But that's not
That's
what
very
he
true.
chose to do. He could have just been like, you know what? I'll just party with Adam some more. Right? Because it's like, he was walking with Adam. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a very simple solution. I'm God. I'm literally infinite. I could just come down there and just spend all the time with him.
Yeah.
And he'll never be lonely.
Yeah.
But God was like, you know what? It's not good that Adam is alone and man's alone. So he created a woman literally as a solution, right? But not in a way where it's like, this is the only purpose for a woman. But like, put it this way. There's something crazy to the fact that God could have done that himself. But he was like, for whatever reason, we don't know why, he's like, nah, I know the perfect thing.
I entrust this job to you.
Yep. And like, he's like, you know what? It's not, out of all of God's creation, that was the only thing he was like, it's not good that this was created this way. Right? He said like God created the birds, the beasts, and the seas, and he's like, and it was good. He created this land, and it was good. He created the plants, and it was good. He created the animals, it was good. God created man, and it was good. But then it gets to Adam, and he's like, but God, it was not good. It was not a good thing that man was alone. And I think that is like speaking to something so deep about loneliness, right? Not that we should look to women as like their only job is to solve our loneliness issue, but like see
They have a lot of jobs.
yeah, women can do amazing things, and
They're the reason we're here.
yes, think about it. But like, think about how I guess not in the same, I wouldn't say it's innately bad. Like it's not. It's just not good.
Mm-hmm.
And there are plenty of people. I'm not introverted, but there are plenty of introverts that like to be alone. Like I'm extroverted, but I think loneliness is such a important thing, and it really affects our society, our kids today. I think more than any time in history, because it's like we can know there are 2 billion people, 8 billion people in this world, but I also think we, in our culture and day and age, feel more alone than we ever had. Ever. In the maybe the history of mankind. Because it's like, I don't know, I don't think our brains are able to truthfully be wired to like understand. Like I can have so many friends and followers on Instagram or whatever it is, on whatever app, go on every day, get to meet someone new every week, and truly not be known by anybody. And I think that's happening more and more.
Conspiracy theory, Tim. I think it's by design.
Ooh,
That sort of
talk to
Makes
us.
sense.
That sort of loneliness drives consumerism.
Mm.
You try to fill that hollowness with Things.
Wow, that's
True.
so.
Consumerism.
I like where that.
And also tribalism too. If you can isolate enough people and
Mm.
create a
Become
little group of
afraid.
your own.
Yeah, your found family type beat, where it's just like, listen, this is gonna be my new clan, and I have to like,
Yeah, now I'm gonna figure out how to fit in somewhere that'll accept me,
yeah.
and I'm willing to change so that I can be accepted.
I mean, there's a reason why people join gangs
Mhm.
in the inner city. Like
Yeah.
literally, it's like
They're lonely. They don't have anybody.
I have a family now. I have a place of belonging. I am not alone. It's crazy, man. It is insane.
100%.
Yeah, I am. My prayers in the next. I just hope it gets better. I don't know how it will. I think you do your little part in the world. For me, what I am genuinely trying to do is just be available and recognize, like, dude, there are so many awesome things. Be genuinely available and authentic and approachable for anybody.
Mm.
Like, I might not have the time. I might not have, like, every answer or solution. I'm not even the best listener, but at least I can do is be there and, like, man, be there for each other. Just be there for each other. It's like such a simple and easy thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it has so much impact.
Yeah. I know that as soon as you start putting attention into your immediate circle, if you can clean up the things around you, typically the things that are around you start getting cleaned up as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So exactly how you're saying. Just do your part as best as you can.
Oh, man, like it's
Don't focus on the larger problems that you can't do anything about, like Israel and Palestine.
yeah,
Look,
such a complicated, sad issue, bro.
sucks, but there really isn't much that you can do to help. Sure, you can bring awareness and show
Yeah.
support and all that stuff, but I always look at it as there's also problems in our front yard and our backyard. We got to fix things at home first before we can start fixing things in other people's homes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that. I think you should bring awareness to it, and I think I agree with you. It's just like, do what you can, be consistent, be there for people. The problems of the world weren't created by one person.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you can blame Adam, but he had Eve, and Eve can blame the serpent. And if the
Oh.
problems of the world, and only the problems of the world can be solved by, I believe, by one person, Jesus Christ. I think that's the only way they can be solved. But like, until he returns, like, not any one of us can solve all the world's problems.
The most we can do is try and work together to make everywhere a suitable place.
Yeah. Dude, I don't think any one person can solve one problem of the world.
No.
Not entirely. Not the big problems.
I'm trying to think, like, the easiest one I feel would probably be hunger. To solve with money would probably be hunger, I feel.
I also agree. I think actually, like, they're probably like Bill Gates or Elon Musk could probably do it. The problem is, like,
They've
there's
got
still going to be some part of the world,
Yeah.
some small island where there's a
It's
remote
untouched
tribe
or something.
that
Yeah.
someone is starving.
Yeah.
I
I see
remember
what you're saying.
I remember reading something about how if we all just started giving food away, that there were still parts of the world that would technically be starving just because of the logistical issues of trying to get that food to them in a timely manner,
Exactly.
That makes sense.
which I think is kind of wild.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's truly sad when you think about it. Like, the only difference, like, there is no difference in value or reason that some small girl was born in the Himalayan mountains and is, like, picking weeds to eat every day or whatever. And I'm here and
Goes
dude,
back to luck of the draw and
exactly.
roll the dice.
And
brother.
I had tri-tip for dinner. It was like, dude,
Delicious.
it was
That's great.
amazing. Shout out to Chris, my friend who made it. And it was just
Hey.
like, that girl probably will never eat a piece of beef in her entire life.
No.
It's insane, right?
Yep.
You're just like, bro, God, like, how do I even think about this? It's like, we can't spend every moment thinking about it because, like, it's
Mm-mm.
not possible for you to exist. But I think there should be, I don't know, at the very least, gratitude in your heart. Just
Yeah.
be like,
Just have to be thankful for what you have and understand that people are in a worse situation than you.
yeah, yeah,
And when you have the opportunity, help them out.
exactly. I shout out to my mom. She's just always thinking about people in India. I think it's because, like, she left when she was young and feels
Mhm.
that.
Mm.
Her mom died. She saw all the poor people around her, and she got a. She's so glad she's in this country, but like, I wonder if some small part about her is like guilty.
Mm.
Never asked her like, hey, do you feel guilty that you got to get out of? And it wasn't like really your choice. They just
That's a weird feeling, though.
Yeah.
Guilt for being pulled out of a bad situation.
yeah, but
That's-
I'm wondering if she ever felt that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Survivor's
a lot
guilt.
of people,
Yeah, like a
a lot of
survivor's
people
guilt.
experience that.
Where it's
but
like I didn't.
there's no reason to, though, in my opinion.
No, I also agree. I'm just curious to know, like, hey, do you feel that way? Because like sometimes my mom, like, she's so frugal. She's like, in like 20 years, I never spent like a single dollar to buy a Coke for myself. It's like, it's $1, Mom. You could do
Yeah.
that. And I always thought like it's because she grew up so poor after I went to India. It's like she
Mhm.
couldn't imagine spending money on herself. It's like, man, is our self-worth issues like generational? And now I wonder, it's like, could it be even more than that? Like, is it because like she's like, I don't.
So I know that some thought processes can be genetics. It's just
yeah.
like ingrained in you. But I feel like a lot of self-worth has to do with the way that you grew up.
Yeah, and I think for my mom, she grew up so poor. She's
Yeah.
like so poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's so much. Mom, I love you. I love you. I have to send this to you, but I love you. I love you too, Dad. Danny, I love you. Becky and Tim, I love you.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that you're in a very loving mood. That's a great way. It's also been quite some. How long?
Yeah. What time is it?
It's like 12 something.
Oh shoot! I was supposed to see Tim at like
3 hours at least.
no way.
Well, it's been a beautiful 3 hours. Joe,
Heck
it's
yeah.
been I don't know how long since the last time you were in here, but this question, I'm hit with you with it again. You got to give me something new. Last time you told me, which is funny because we were talking about it, being more open and accepting people truly with love is something that you had learned and were working on.
Yeah.
So what's something that you've learned during your period of time on this earth that has helped you live a better life?
Something I learned is something different than that. Wow. In the time that I've been here too, huh? Probably in my time in my new relationship, more importantly, being honest with yourself. You can't expect to truly be honest with someone unless you are honest with yourself. And being willing to be like, man, I was acting insecure, or I was acting anxious, or I was acting like a way that I don't think is becoming of me. Like, am I willing to admit that for me? For just to say like, hey, yeah. I don't know if you can really truly self-deception is truly real. Like, you can deceive yourself. Because
Yes.
it almost seems like an oxymoron, but you can probably in some ways at least be like delusional.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's where delusion comes from.
yeah, but just being honest with yourself, like, hey, like really, like, you know what? I didn't feel good, and I hate to admit that because that might be some weakness. But like, even just saying like me thinking that, admitting that is a weakness. Let me develop that thought and say, like, where does that come from? Like, let's just be honest with myself. Like, do I feel like I'm not a strong person? Do I feel like I'm a weak person? Like, I don't know if you should always be that introspective, but that's something I'm working on.
That's deep. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's great. Joe, I love you.
I love you too, man.
Let's go get some sleep.
Yeah,
And we're going to go fishing this weekend.
Yes.
Hey, good night, everybody. Good night.